John Schaefer and San Diego's own Alan Sliwa. Here's Schaefer and Sliwa.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is Hour 1. Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760. We'll hear from Craig Stanman coming up in 15 minutes. We react to a Padres series loss in Milwaukee despite the heroics of Gavin Sheets last night with 2 outs in the 9th inning. And Anders Dreyer, SDFC snaps the winless drought. They had 10 consecutive matches without a win in the MLS. He will join us live coming up at 3:30. Baseball, I mean, it's like you can't even enjoy what happened last night. Griffin Canning actually said this with the media. I just read Kevin Acey's post-game article. He said what sucked about today from his seat is I was trying to build off the momentum of last night, and unfortunately I didn't pitch well enough.
Yeah, it didn't happen, Griffin.
So they lose the series. They lose a road series for the first time this season. That was inevitably going to happen. But just in general, the trend lines are disappointing, obviously. Yes, they won yesterday. Give them credit. Yes, they won Sunday. Give them credit. But you take a further look, like with your eyes, and the trends are not good right now with the Padres, despite the fact that they're 7 games over 500, 25-18.
Yeah. What's their high point? Were they
19-9?
So they're 10 games over 500.
So what are they now? Let's do the math.
They're 7 games over. So
but since 19-9, what's the record?
So through 29 games. So after that, you said how many games are they in?
43. They're 6-9 in the last 15 games.
Yeah. So that's the piece where there's your reasoning. There's your reasoning, by the way, of why you feel the way you do or why somebody does. I'm just going to kind of walk through these last couple of outings for the Padres, right? However you want to call the series against St. Louis, but they were, obviously down to 1 strike from losing 3 of 4.
Yep.
And then the series against the Brewers, they're down to 1 out of getting swept.
Yep.
So just kind of pay attention to that part.
Exactly.
It doesn't mean you don't give these guys credit for finding ways to win like they have. I give them all the credit in the world for doing that, but that doesn't mean it's like, all right, is this going in the right direction right now or is it not? All losses are not created equal. If today they just lost a game and it was just a good battle and a good fight and they lost 4-3, maybe we're going to say something different. They got their asses kicked today.
It was
never a game.
Yeah.
By the time, again, you were out running around doing whatever you're doing. I was kind of the same thing. I get a text from my cousin. I'm just walking out of a meeting. I get a text from my cousin. He's like, I don't even know what he said. He said something, this is great baseball. I'm blind on that. Right. This is great baseball. I'm like, so I don't know which way he's leaning. I look, it's already 3-0.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, it's 6-0. So I think the frustration for me is how they've lost these last couple of games, how they lost that game to St. Louis last time Griffin Canning was on the mound. You got the Little League grand slam from Tatis, the ball going under his glove and go. It's just there's some ugly losses in between, and the record, even though it took us about 15 minutes to figure out the math, 6-9 in their last 15 games, that says something.
I think at the end of the day, for me, to your point about like it's been ugly, like we have to have an honest conversation again about this offense, and we'll hear from Kevin Acey what he said yesterday at some point as well, because Kevin said like.
Yeah, it was interesting.
If given the choice to address the starting rotation or the offense, what do you do? And I think that's an interesting question coming out of today with the way Griffin Canning pitched. But like this offense, unobjectively, is awful.
Awful.
Like this offense is really, really, really bad. And I don't even know where to go from that point because we've said it repeatedly. The only thing that's saving them from us going all in is that they are 25-18. But I'm watching, and so are our listeners, and this offense does nothing for large portions of games, including today. In fact, their 9th inning run was unearned. They just do nothing other than in like random 9th innings.
It's so funny. So we're driving in, getting ready to come here, and Tatis is up with 2 on. He's up with 2 on and 2 outs. And in my head, I'm like,
this is going to be the home run.
In my head, I was like, can we have a moment where what pressure is on Tatis in this situation? You're losing the game.
Right.
So only difference here, you're going 0 for 4 in the day. You're going 1 for 5.
Right.
And I'm like, is there any way he can just like, can he get one just to feel good about himself? Sometimes in an L, are there some things like,
sure.
I'll give you an idea. Matt Waldron came in this game and he pitched a couple of innings and he had a few strikeouts. Like, in a weird way for me, I'm like, hey, you know what? Waldron getting a little bit of run. Maybe Waldron feels a little bit better about himself since the last time he was out there. I'm looking at Tatis. I'm saying to myself, can Tatis do something here just to make himself feel for? What if Tatis just pulled one and finally, and Padres lost the game 7-4, but Tatis finally got that home run. Lazy ground ball to short, ball game is over. I'm like, no, not even that can happen. Yeah, it's frustrating. Frustrating watching these guys on offense, and you already don't give yourself much of a shot, or you have such thin margin for error when you can't score. And then obviously what happened today, just there was no starting pitching.
Remember yesterday when we're like, does Tatis need the Cal Raleigh treatment, which is showering in uniform?
Mm-hmm.
Well, now the part 2 of that is, does Tatis need the Cal Raleigh treatment, which is Raleigh's been placed on the IL with an oblique injury that he's dealing with, but he's hitting 160. If you're not watching me, I'm doing the whatever I'm doing. What is this called?
Air quotes?
I'm doing air quotes a lot, even though it doesn't apply.
I don't think you could say air quotes for air quotes. Can you say them?
I don't know.
Because I don't think you can
it's
like
a bad
air quote.
Of air quotes.
Yeah.
Like my son, I told you, my 7-year-old was like, I'm going to school today. I'm like, no, you're going to school today. There's nothing to air quote. Anyway, Cal Raleigh goes on the IL.
Chicken tenders.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I'm not saying Tatis needs to go on the IL, but I'm not saying he doesn't. Like, that's where I am with Fernando Tatis Jr.
Dumb it down for me. And I think a lot of listeners kind of have an idea what that means. In baseball, when they do that, when somebody's struggling, is the idea and the concept is just go work on some stuff.
Yeah.
Try to get your mind off of it.
Public's consciousness. Mm-hmm. We can go, if your oblique is bothering you, you can go play in AAA, because we're not optioning you to AAA. That, of course, A, isn't happening, and B, is the worst look in the world, and C, could shatter even more of his confidence. But if it's, hey, Toddy, what you're dealing with we think is impacting your swing, why don't you take a week and then take 2 games in El Paso, get yourself back, and we'll see you in 10 days. I don't think that's going to happen, but dude, 0 for 5, 3 Ks, no home runs in 43 games. We're reaching a historically bad start for a player of his caliber. And by reaching, I mean we've reached it. And he's not the only player.
What's the hesitation of not doing that?
I think probably just Fernando Tatis Jr. and ego and $340 million. And he's probably not hurt.
Sure.
So, like, if you're not hurt, you're going to tell yourself, I'm just going to get myself out of it. But is Cal Raleigh actually hurt? Maybe he is. Maybe he is. But, or maybe he's also hitting 160 through the foot. And it's not just Tatis. It's so easy to go on a show like this and be like, Tatis. But, I mean, you can look up and down this lineup today, and they didn't do anything collectively as a team. The strikeouts, right? Mm-hmm. 33 strikeouts in the series for their batters, 10 left on base here today. They're just not collectively grouping anything together other than random moments with 2 outs in ninth innings, which counts. But again, I don't see it sustainable.
Yeah, I'm just trying to look here. I'm trying to see, and I don't even know where I need to look. If I look at home runs, obviously we know Xander's got 7. I mean, God bless Machado. I mean, as bad as his average has been, he's got 6, but only batting 190.
Right.
And then there's Tatis. Like, look at the names with Tatis. Freddie Fermin, Bryce Johnson, Fernando Tatis Jr. with 0 home runs.
The homerless group.
Yeah. Sung Sung. Like those are the 4 names that are down there and probably have, a certain amount of at-bats as well. He has 156 at-bats. Fermin's got 74. Bryce Johnson's got 27. Sung has 13.
Right. These guys haven't played comparatively.
And none of them, they're all supposed to have 0 home runs.
Exactly.
Maybe not Fermin, but that's where Tatis is. Like, that's the category that Tatis is in, is with those players. Fernando Tatis Jr. is in that category.
Insane. Dude, the Padres, Allen, as a team, mm-hmm. a baseball team, are hitting 222. You know where that ranks among the 30 teams? What if I told you it ranks 30th among the 30 teams? 2 points worse than the Cincinnati Reds. They, again, unobjectively speaking, I think you have to address it. We'll hear from Kevin later, because I didn't get Brent the sound until recently. But Kevin made an interesting observation yesterday with us. Can they wait on addressing their offense?
Do you remember early in the season? And I felt this. I really did. I believed what I said.
Yeah.
There was some belief early in the season. It's like, hey, I like this lineup a lot more than how they started last season.
Right.
Because remember, Laureano was in the mix now. He got off to a hot start. I thought Fermin, I had some confidence in. Xander had a couple of moments. You just kind of felt like, I know Castellanos was kind of working away. Gavin Sheets with a year under his belt with the Padres. Ty France had kind of a nice couple of moments. And I remember us saying that, I like the idea of, I feel like this lineup has more depth. They have more options, this and that. Their offense isn't doing anything. And really, I mean, I could sit here and try to, go at some of these players that I don't expect much from, but it's the stars, and the stars are going to carry you, and the stars are doing nothing right now.
Heavy is the head that wears the crown, and you're completely right. And thankfully, they're 25-18 is all I would say. Because if this was 18-25, Alan, I don't know how we could do this every day.
Yeah, the problem is you keep going in this trajectory, you're going to be getting a lot closer to 500 here pretty soon.
I agree with you. And the danger in baseball, unlike football, is like, you start 6-2. There's a decent chance you can figure it out. There's only another 8 games. Well, they have more than 8 games remaining. I mean, you can be exposed over a week in Major League Baseball, and there's months of playing every single day.
What would we have said? Let's say Padres won today 3-2. What would we have said?
That's the little engine that could. They find ways to win. How are they doing this? I can't
Sheets
believe
won
they're
them
9
2
games over
because
500.
of that momentum.
Yeah. That's what we'd be saying. I still believe in their ability to navigate towards the postseason, but I know it's got to be better than what we're watching. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, I think the problem right now is you're looking at. Tell me of their starters right now who you have confidence in.
Position players in the lineup
or
in the rotation?
Rotation.
Michael King, a lot of confidence. Randy Vasquez, I have a good amount of confidence in. I don't in Griffin Canning, obviously, based on the Little League home run day. He didn't get out of that inning, even though that was a disaster. Today, obviously, was a failure.
So
Walker Buehler, I don't have confidence in.
Okay, keep going.
And Lucas Giolito, I have to see it. I have to see it.
My point is that like the little engine that could and all that, those are all great storylines. They sound awesome. And you want to ride those out. I mean, last night was a really cool moment. They're down, they got 2 outs and nobody on. And it looked like they're dead in the water. And it looked like the only run they were going to give up was just some kind of poor defensive plays in the inning Michael King was trying to get out of against the Milwaukee Brewers, and a poor play by Machado. Like there were just some bad defense. It's like this is how this game's going to end, 1-0. And Gavin Sheets saved them. What I don't want a game like this to be, and I know this happens, right? If they won 3-2, we'd be having a lot different conversation about. They keep finding a way. They keep this, that. But just start looking at the big picture.
I agree.
This ain't sustainable. It's not. It's just not sustainable. I mean, you either your stars are going to start hitting, and you got to get, obviously a lot more from your rotation. It's a lot to ask for. Like usually there are teams that are hanging around. It's like, hey, if we could just fix this. I watch the Padres right now, and I could name 3-4 players that there's frustration with their bats, and then there's a handful of starters. It's like, I don't have that much confidence in.
It's like that fixing a leak analogy. It's like you plug one and there's 2 other leaks, and that kind of feels like where the Padres are potentially heading. All right, we're going to hear from Craig Stammen, what he had to say post-game. Anders Dreyer, star for SDFC, had a goal last night in a 5-0 SDFC win over Austin. Will join us coming up at 3:30. We're just underway. Stay with us. Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, hey guys, it is Schaefer again for my friends at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. You got to get out there this spring and summer. Enjoy their hotel and spa at Jamul Casino Resort, where you can experience elevated luxury with a refined hotel stay, rooftop relaxation, indulgent spa treatments, all the excitement of Jamul Casino Resort seamlessly brought together in one unforgettable destination. And now you can take your stay to the next level with exclusive hotel packages crafted for the ultimate escape. And while you're there, you'll love all of their dining options. So many, including Tony Gwynn's with the Endless Dining and Hamul 23 with their lobster buffet. Now, every day, enjoy all-you-can-eat lobster every day, plus dozens of other delicious stations. Start your morning with their new signature breakfast buffet, Monday through Friday, 8 to 10:30 a.m., featuring made-to-order omelets, fresh fruit, and sweet and savory favorites. And at Tony Gwynn's, you can experience endless dining Wednesday through Sunday at Tony Gwynn Sports Pub at the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. All right, Schaefer and Sliwa on this Thursday afternoon. Anders Dreyer. How did I shrink here on YouTube? I shrunk. Anders Dreyer is going to join us coming up at 3:30. Alan Horton, broadcaster for the Minnesota Timberwolves. They're getting ready for Game 6 tomorrow night. He's going to hop on at 4 p.m. Talk about that series, the NBA postseason, and more with Alan Horton.
Get a little Wembanyama action in there. A little Anthony Edwards action in there.
Looking forward to that. All right, so he's going to join us coming up again at 4 p.m. Do you want to hear from Craig Stammen, or do you want to hear from? Do you have the Kevin Acee sound, Brent? He's got the sound from Kevin where we asked
on the offense.
Well, do you need a piece in your rotation if you're AJ Preller and you're good at the deadline, or do you need a bat at the deadline? We're probably getting ahead of ourselves with that question. Do you want to hear that?
Let's go Acee. Let's go Acee
okay,
on that one.
So I think I asked basically that, like, do they need a bat or do they need rotation help? Here was his answer.
Well, they're still a good team. They've started hitting. So yeah. So while it could, there's so many iterations of what you're saying, right? Like I could start going down the road of, hey, all right, how are they piecing this together?
Yeah.
What do they think they can do in the playoffs? What's available out there? Do they go get another lockdown reliever that also then is maybe somebody who's, going to be here longer, like Jason Adams, a free agent next year? Like, and how you get through the playoffs that way? I don't know. Do you need a starter? Probably yes. And I'm talking about like a rental maybe that, really helps you or you think is going to really help you. My first inclination is to say that if they're, 8 games over 500 at the trade deadline or around that time, their offense has come together. That doesn't mean they can't use another bat. I was trying to think the other day and thinking about how can I start to investigate. Would they look for a bat right now? Because this, sucks. But I just don't think they have any chance except to believe that this offense is going to pick up and be good enough to force them to make those decisions at the trade deadline.
All right. So I did find it interesting that Kevin alluded to this idea or went down a path of like, well, I've even thought about like, can they address their offense now?
Mm-hmm.
And having watched this, that was yesterday. They didn't do anything yesterday other than Sheets. They didn't do anything today. Like, can they jumpstart it? Like Luis Ariz was a May deal a couple years ago, which is really out of left field. So to speak.
Yeah.
Like, is that possible? I don't know. I really don't.
Yeah. I wonder how much Preller's looking at this. Again, one of the things that they did, anytime you start the season the way they did, you gave yourself a little margin for error, right? Some point you're going to struggle. Some point you're going to have, obviously some moments where things aren't going your way. Did you get 7, 8, 9 games over 500? Are you concerned like, hey, if we start regressing here, and there's enough teams in the NL this year that there will be a little bit of a dogfight here. If you got enough teams that are in it, you're also going to have teams that are aggressive at the trade deadline. Yep. But the offense is so freaking bad that I don't know if there's one fix. I'd rather take my chances with it, right? You see if one guy can spark other guys, but I don't know if I have an answer for you because typically you're not talking trade deadline on May 14th.
Yeah, completely agree. We could take your calls on this, by the way, if you want to weigh in. 877-767-4760. How fed up are you with this offense right now? Just that specific question. It's been very frustrating to watch. I've seen a meme out there like, yay, the Padres. And then like, I can't watch this. And like, yay, we found a way to win in the 9th inning. Like basically you're just sitting there for 8 innings like, what am I watching? And then all of a sudden, oh, yeah, we won. We somehow found a way to win this game.
But you can't. That's not. Obviously, we'll go back to it. It's not sustainable. Gavin Sheets did you see some of those stats yesterday on guys that hit 3-run homers or game-winning home runs, whatever it was?
Yep.
What was the stat exactly? It's like it's never been done before.
No one in baseball history has hit 3 go-ahead home runs when the home run has been a 3-run homer or more 3 times in a season. And Gavin Sheets has already done it. He's already done it. He's hit 3 go-ahead home runs in the 9th, and the homers have been 3-run home runs or more.
First player in MLB history to go ahead 3-run plus homer in the 9th inning 3 times in the same season. He did it April 10th, April 23rd, and he did it yesterday on May 13th.
Same. All right, 877-767-4760. Let's sneak in this call from Eric, who's back with us here on Schaefer and Sliwa. Thanks, Eric. What's up?
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's up, man?
Yeah, listening in, I couldn't help. I had to call. I think if the Padres can just maintain this up and down, 8 games above 500 with what we got. But I think the talk as well, the talk of like, do we need to address a hitter or pitcher? I mean, we got the pitching because, the only way we're going to address a pitcher is at the trade deadline, which is July or June. We're going to have Pavetta. We're going to have Musgrove back by then. Buehler, King, and Vasquez. Exactly, hopefully. But I think as long as we can maintain, this what we're doing right now. And another thing, guys, let's give the roster a chance. Get them their swings. Sitting them a few days, playing them other days. Let these guys get their swings in, like the Castellanos and the Gavin Sheets and the Ty Francis. Let's get a bat line up until the deadline, and then we can see what we can address.
Appreciate you,
thanks, guys.
Thank you, brother.
I just don't know. I don't know. It's Is it getting Gavin Sheets in the lineup more? Is it getting Nick Castellanos in the lineup? It's getting Manny Machado to hit.
Tatis and Machado and Jackson Merrill, and it's these guys. That's really truly what it is. Because anything any of these other dudes do, it's just icing on the cake. So if we're gonna depend on those players, Padres are gonna have some trouble. If you're depending on Tatis, Machado, Jackson Merrill, some of these other guys, those are the guys you're supposed to be depending on.
I agree. We'll hear from Craig Stammen coming up in about 15 minutes, his post-game thoughts with the media after today's 7-1 loss. But we'll switch gears to SDFC. They win in dominant fashion last night at Snapdragon, 5-0, and they'll play again on Saturday. It's Anders Dreyer bobblehead night coming up on Saturday. He will join us coming up live next on the other side. Anders Dreyer, striker for SDFC, joining us next on San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app.
The sport is sponsored by Mothers Against Drunk Driving. The Padres lost their game to the Brewers this afternoon, 7-1. It's the first time all year the Padres have lost a road series. They move on to start a weekend set in Seattle tomorrow night. There are no games in the NBA playoffs today. We got a pair of game 6s tomorrow night, though. For victims of drunk and drug driving, your grief is unique, but you're not alone. You'll always have a place at MAD. Call the 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
All right, SDFC back to its winning ways with the victory last night over Austin FC in shutout fashion. And coming up Saturday, it is Anders Dreyer bobblehead night.
Let's go.
At Snapdragon Stadium. First 20,000 fans in attendance will receive that exclusive bobblehead brought to you by Sharp Healthcare. And we've got Anders Dreyer with us right now on the home for SDFC, San Diego Sports 760. We'll get to the bobblehead. I want to start with last night. Just in general, Anders, how did it feel just to get back to a win, play and win that decisively last night in front of the home crowd?
No, hello, first of all. But no, I think, yesterday was amazing. And after we struggled a little bit for a month or two with some results, then finally back to winning ways. And 5-0, what a way. And then, looking forward to Saturday now.
Anders, what can one win do? Just to, put yourself, like you mentioned, back in the win column. I'm sure there was a lot of frustration through some of the losses that you guys had, but how can one win just kind of change things in momentum? Would love to hear that from your perspective.
No, of course. I think if you take the Portland and you take the LA game, I think we deserved a win, but we didn't get it. And then you get a little bit frustrated. And now when, finally we get the win after a good play, it's hopefully something you can build a momentum of and get some more wins and even more points. We have 2 home games now coming up, and we go for 6 points. It starts on Saturday with 3 points, but of course in the dressing room, around in the club, it gives motivation and even more eager to get points and play like we did yesterday.
How much have you enjoyed, and Anders Dreyer is with us right now? A star for SDFC, scored yesterday. Of course, has been one of the focal point members of this franchise each of the last 2 years. What's it been like for you to play in front of these crowds in San Diego over the last 2 years?
It's been amazing. I love our fans. It was Wednesday yesterday and in the night, and still a lot of people show up, even though we haven't won for 9 games. Playing in front of a lot of fans at Snapdragon is something special. I still sometimes, when I'm laying in my bed thinking about that playoff games against Minnesota, where we go through, and Portland as well, and stadium was rocking. It's something special, and I love it. To be fair,
can I go back? Let's kind of stay with that for a quick second and go back to last season, inaugural season for SDFC. What were your expectations? Like, here you are, San Diego's getting its first chance to be part of an MLS team. And I think most people thought San Diego's a great soccer market, but this would be the first opportunity. Did you have like, what were your expectations walking in, and how much different was it based off of what you thought than what it actually was?
Yeah. No, for sure. And I think that was also a funny part, that you are building something new, like a new franchise, a new club, a new identity. I were in a club in Belgium, maybe the biggest one, Anderlecht, and then you try something totally different, building a new club, be a part of that was something that really dragged me into this project. And I think last season, the way we play, I know it from Nordsjælland in Denmark. It's something spectacular and something that is exceptional, especially when on good days like yesterday, when it's all clicking, then it's fun. I think last season was something we will never forget. But it always makes the second year even harder, because people expect us to do like that again. But that's nice. And I think finally to get San Diego on the map in MLS is nice, and to be a part of that is I would say something special.
Have you felt it on the field, like on the pitch? And Anders Dreyer is with us right now. Like a year ago, it felt like you were hunting down the other teams in Major League Soccer. You were the new kids on the block, so to speak. But now it feels like you're being hunted because, again, you appeared in the Western Conference Final in year one. Is that tangible? Is that felt as a player or a team as you go about the season?
No, for sure. And I think, like you said, like last season, we were the guys who were hunting the other teams and wanted to show what we could do as a club and as a team. Then we did so well that we went all the way to the conference final, and now we are getting hunted by other teams in the league, and I think that's normal. Maybe they put some more effort in watching videos and stuff like that before they come to Snapdragon or we play away against the teams. So of course it's more tough this year, but it's also a year where I think we, as a team, as a club, will learn a lot.
Andres, I'm curious. For us, we're two guys that are talking sports 3 hours a day, 5 days a week. We're going to look at the standings and we're going to say, all right, here's where SDFC is in the Western Conference, and maybe we're going to overreact. How about from a player perspective? How often are you looking at the standings? Does it? I don't want to say does it matter, does it not matter this early, but it is still, what are we, probably getting close to about 1/3 of the season through, when just sitting where you are today, yes, tied for 9th or 10th right there in the standings. What do you make of that, and what are some of your expectations moving forward?
No, of course, I'm a football player, and I'm addicted to competition and winning. That's for sure. And of course, I sometimes also look at the stands and where we are in the league table, which I think it's normal. But like you said, I think we had now 1/3 of the season done, and we can look forward, and that's what I say. It was important to get that win before the last 2 games now of this first part of the season, and then we have a preseason. But I would not say we panic or anything. We know we've been in a tough period result-wise, and which is normal sometimes in football when things is not going our way. But dressing room-wise, coach, staff, everything is calm. We know what we're capable of, and we're just ready to show it, of course, on Saturday, but also after the World Cup break to show even more. And we know we could have more points, and then of course we will be higher in the league table. So of course we aim to get higher and get into the playoffs.
All right, let's not bury the lead. We need to talk about your bobblehead, which is you on an ice cream cart or like driving one. And you're known as El Pelotero. Am I saying that right? Take us through the backstory for why your bobblehead is you selling ice cream, so to speak, out of an ice cream cart.
Yeah, I heard it like last season. It was something with El Paletero, and then it started to be a thing, and with the ice cream always delivering. And then I one time was at a beach driving around on a bike like that and giving out the ice cream for kids and adults. And it was a great show, to be fair, on the beach. And then, I would never imagine myself having a bobblehead, to be fair. It's funny, and I also have one at home, and I'm looking at it, and we'll get some for friends and family, because I think it's actually something special, and it's not everybody who will just get a bobblehead of himself.
It's one of the more unique ideas, let's just say, that we've seen. So that's awesome. So tomorrow, obviously, we'll mention it again. The first 20,000 fans will get that bobblehead. Or I'm sorry, this upcoming Saturday for the game coming up here. Final one for me, and we appreciate your time. I want to, of course, kind of curious your thoughts here. You come to San Diego, and you really have become one of the staples of this city when it comes to athletes. What's that meant to you? I mean, I think this, and in the city of San Diego, we're very proud to have certain athletes represent our franchises, and you've become the face of SDFC. Just what has that meant to you, and how important is that to you?
No, for sure. I think when I arrived 1.5 years ago, I arrived to an amazing city and something special here. And like you said, all these fine words about being the face of a franchise and to the whole city, it means a lot for me. I really love the support we have around in the city, no matter how it goes. I think people I'm talking to is always supportive and they say what they have on their mind, but they are positive all the time. But it's special for sure. I love it so much, and I appreciate it, and that's why it also hurts me sometimes when we don't get the results we want to as a club, as players, for the fans and for the city. So we try every day to work for like the whole city, to make San Diego proud.
Well, San Diegans have embraced the club, obviously, as you know, and certainly your performances as well over these 2 seasons. And we are looking forward to Saturday night. You can hear it right here on San Diego Sports 760. If you're one of the first 20,000 fans in attendance, you're getting an exclusive, and it is exclusive. Trust us. After that conversation, you're getting an SDFC Anders Dreyer bobblehead presented by Sharp Healthcare, and you can grab those tickets as well at sandiegofc.com/tickets. Anders, appreciate your time, my friend, and we'll do it again hopefully soon.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you.
Anders Dreyer. Again, he is, arguably he was the league's best player last year. Now he finished second in MVP to, Lionel Messi, but had 23 goals and 20-something assists the first year for SDFC.
He was legit had a shot at MVP. It was between him and Messi.
That's insane.
They were 1 game away. Give Vancouver credit. They were phenomenal of playing Messi in the finals. You couldn't have asked for a better start for SD. And I last night watching that game and it went 5-0. There was a little bit of, and this is just, again, I think this is you and I, and this is how fans are. The moment that game ended, I'm like, cool, you need 3 more on Saturday.
Yeah, exactly.
Like they really genuinely need that momentum. And we're talking about this, how quickly they could jump up in the standings by just getting some momentum. So I love what he said too. The last part he said, he's like, yeah, I do know that San Diego has embraced me. That's why it hurts when we're not winning, because I know how much they want us to win for them. So that's somebody that obviously understands the pulse of the city.
Yeah, enjoyed that conversation there with Anders Dreyer from SDFC. We'll hear from Craig Stammen, Padres manager, on the other side. Padres fall today in Milwaukee 7-1. We're also giving away today Rod Stewart tickets for a show on June 12th. We'll tell you how to win those tickets coming up on Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760. Good to connect with Anders Dreyer.
Yeah.
Alan Horton, broadcaster for the Minnesota Timberwolves, getting ready for Game 6, a must-win for Minnesota, an elimination game. He'll join us coming up in about 12 minutes.
The only question we didn't ask Dreyer that kind of I'm disappointed in.
The MVP conversation?
Tatis.
I know. Does he have any batting tips?
No.
You're saying for launch angle? Yeah, because
I feel like there was 3-4 Padre questions we could have asked him, and anything he said could have been fair.
you think he's been to a Padres game?
Oh,
I say yes, right? 100%.
He's probably done something. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure, but that man would be a perfect person to have come out throw a first pitch.
Oh, I love that idea. Do you
Now,
think
maybe
he
he's
texts
done it.
Machado like,
Maybe
yo, it's like, I see you're hitting 190. Like,
well, and
short
Machado's got some
I know.
minority ownership
I
there,
know.
too.
Maybe they're in a group chat
Come on, guys.
together.
He should kick the first pitch.
Ooh. Well,
Not a bad idea.
Yeah, but
Be a little tough.
Yeah, that's
A little tough.
might hurt your toe. Brent's like, nah. All right, let's hear from Craig Stammen because the Padres lose today in Milwaukee 7-1. Thankfully, they get a game in the series, but they do lose the series 2-1.
Yep.
So where does this start? Does this start with Griffin Canning or does this start with a question? Presumably, it starts with Griffin Canning. This is Craig Stammen post-game here today.
We kind of battled him. I mean, he only yeah, it's definitely couldn't find the strike zone. Walked 4 hitters in a row, and even the other batters was just a struggle just to get in the zone, and then to command any of his off-swing pitches was very difficult today. So not his day. He'll get back out there the next time. We'll be just fine.
Kind of goes without saying that makes it awful difficult.
Yeah, it's always tough, to get down 6-0 early and then, try to fight back. We've been fighting back all year. Sooner or later, just you can't put yourselves in those type of holes all the time.
How can you do more offensively those first few innings? Obviously, today on the pitching side, got strikes on, but offensively, not scoring enough early. How do you go about?
Yeah, we're just not scoring the runs. That first inning, we had a double and single just with 2 outs. And, a second and third, and Sheets hits one, makes a diving play and gets him out. So can't really say anything about the first inning, and then we kind of battled him. I mean, we had to throw 90 pitches in 5 innings, and he didn't walk anybody, so it means we were taking pretty solid at bats. We had a few hits off him, but we just weren't able to, punch that through. I think we were, over whatever with runners in scoring position. So I think, the next piece, once you take good at bats, is to, finish it off. Find a way to, score some runs with guys in scoring position.
Using Waldron for the last couple, I assume. What does that mean going forward? What went into that decision?
Well, we obviously know Giolito's coming at some point, relatively soon, and that leaves one guy out of the starting rotation probably. And so Waldy, is probably going to be that guy in the bullpen, and he picked us up today big time. We needed those 2 innings, and saved us for tomorrow. We're going to win. You're going to have a chance to win the next 3 games because he pitched those 2 innings tonight, which is pretty awesome and admirable.
So does he go to the bullpen now?
Yeah, he was in the bullpen today, and he'll be in the bullpen tomorrow and the next day, and going after that. So, what he did today was, amazing. Had to start a couple days ago, had 1 day off. Tail between his legs, have not pitched well, and came out and gave us the 2 innings that we needed today to set us up for a chance to win tomorrow.
What works about him in the bullpen? That's kind of a question. Could he work in the bullpen? You guys obviously think he can. So
yeah, one, he's got a pretty resilient arm, and he can bounce back, and then he's also got an outlier pitch, in the knuckleball, which he can go to an 8-point. The other thing about him going to the pen is he's able to pitch a lot. And we saw that today. We started 2 days ago and pitched 2 innings today, so that's a valuable piece that we have.
The bullpen as a whole has had to cover a lot of innings this season. How important is it that not be the case going forward, that you get maybe a little more from your starters? As good as your bullpen is, it's not covering the innings that it has.
Yeah, vastly important. Starters will say, leave me in longer. And, the way we look at it is it's a little bit of yin and yang on that. And we've got some good starts, but we just need that consistent 1 through 5, them as a group, consistently going 5, 6, 7 innings if possible. And I think they will. Purposely early in the season, you want to take it easy on them and build them back up. A lot of those guys had injuries or things that they were dealing with in this offseason, and trying to build them back up. So, we're getting to the point now where we can kind of let them go a little bit, but still, we have such an elite bullpen. We do need to use it. to help us win games. And so far it's worked in our favor that way. Obviously we can't tear them down and not have them at the end of the season. I was part of that 2021 season. We used the bullpen a ton. I pitched more innings than I ever had in my career. And by the end, were we a little cashed out? Maybe, maybe not. You don't really know. We were able to stay healthy, but would we be as good as what we'd be? So I'm very cognizant of how that's got to work for a full season.
You alluded to Giolito coming back soon. Is there a date on that?
No date. Soon.
TBD.
TBD.
TBD or TBA?
TBA. 4D.
One is decided. What's announced? Oh, all right. Hey, Gavin in there today. He had success against this guy. Reverse splits. Was it all kind of part of it?
Yeah, all part of that. And I just felt like the bats Gavin's been taking, and especially the one late last night, he deserved a chance against the lefty, and he has a couple good at bats again today.
Craig Stammen, post-game, Padres fall 7-1. I think the interesting thing in there is he basically confirmed that Matt Waldron would remain on the roster.
Mm-hmm.
Pitched in relief today. Did not throw well in a start recently, but sounds like he's going to stick around.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad idea to have a guy that you can go to pitch multiple innings in either a blowout either way.
Yeah, up big.
You're either
big,
getting your ass kicked.
Good point.
Or you're kicking somebody's ass, which would be nice to see here at some point in the near future.
Scoring a number of runs.
If they're up 3-1, it's basically a blowout.
Man, we're killing them. We're like 2. It's
if
incredible.
It's 3-1 in the 6th, I'm leaving.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to try to beat traffic.
So Matt Waldron,
but the Waldron piece of it, I agree with you. If he does stay, maybe for those situations specifically.
But who's going to go? Because Lucas Giolito's coming. So there's a squeeze in here somewhere. The question is who's going to go for the Padres potentially this weekend. Padres, by the way, en route for Seattle. They'll play the Mariners beginning with game 1 of a 3-game set tomorrow night. All right, Alan Horton, longtime broadcaster with the Minnesota Timberwolves, is going to join us on the other side.
Was in SD for a long time. I used to work with Alan Horton back in the days at Mighty 1090. So Horton's got some roots here in San Diego.
Are they sister cities, Minneapolis and San Diego? Or is that Minneapolis, St. Paul? I think it's Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Okay.
Yeah, because Minneapolis and San Diego are like identical, right? Weather, everything about them.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
it's exactly. You said that so serious. I'm like, I have no idea where you are going with
I'm
this.
saying that they're like, I can't imagine moving from San Diego to Minneapolis. My wife wouldn't leave. If I was hired tomorrow as the voice of the T-Wolves, I don't want to be because then Alan would be out of a job.
Yes.
And I'm not applying. But if I was hired tomorrow as the voice of the Twins, my wife is staying here. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding when I say that.
She would just say, well, we'll make it long distance, as in you come when you're done there because I'm not leaving.
No, she would call the lawyer and stay. All right, Alan Horton on the other side, voice of the Timberwolves, are getting set for an elimination game against the Spurs tomorrow. He'll join us next on Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app.
This update is brought to us by the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. The Padres lost to the Brewers this afternoon, 7-1. It's the first time the Padres have lost a road series this season. They move on to start a weekend set in Seattle tomorrow. There are no games in the NBA playoffs today, but we got a pair of Game 6s tomorrow night. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has been at the forefront of inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more at crohnscolitis.org.
It's Schaefer and Sliwa. Sean Schaefer. San Diego's own Alan Sliwa. Your Schaefer and Sliwa.
All right, hour 2, Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760 with Alan Horton.
Let's go.
Broadcaster for the T-Wolves. Now, you guys go way back. Is that correct? How far back do Alan Sliwa and Alan Horton go? And Alan Horton, thanks for hopping on, man.
Horton, what do we
How are
hear?
you guys?
Okay, wait. When did you leave San Diego? What year was it?
It was about 2006.
That's when
Got
everything.
there in 97, 98, somewhere in there. So almost a decade.
So the moment Horton left in 2006, everything fell apart in San Diego.
Wait, so take me through this because I don't know the backstory. So,
Yeah.
Alan, you've been with the T-Wolves since then, Alan?
I was up in Seattle for a year with the Sonics and Storm, and then I was with the Timberwolves and Lynx from 2007 till today. So that's 19 years.
How
and
much
1 year in Seattle, so 20 years in total.
We were just having a conversation at the break. Having spent that much time in San Diego, how much do you miss San Diego?
Well, I miss it a ton. Obviously, it's one of the all-time great places. I mean, I miss it all the time, especially every time it gets the 6 months of winter we have here in the Twin Cities in the Upper Midwest. It's just my wife still hasn't gotten used to it. We lived in Pacific Beach and we were in Mission Beach as well, so we loved being near the water. Tough place though, as you guys know and everybody knows, it got a little pricey. It's tough to raise a family there, and you want to live near the ocean, and guess what? That's where it's really expensive to live. So it would have been interesting had we been able to do what we did work wise, if we could have made it work with a family, or if we had to move inland. And I really like being near the water, but again, that was a little problematic with all the pricing.
Yeah, Horton he'll come to a point where he'll buy 3-4 properties out in Bird Rock area, and he'll come back.
3 or 4.
Yeah, 3 or 4 of them. Just put them all together. All right, so Alan Horton, obviously somebody has spent a lot of time in San Diego, nice enough to join us here and talk a little NBA. So let's start with the series. You got the Minnesota Timberwolves, the San Antonio Spurs. It has been arguably the best series so far in the postseason. And I say that because of the star power, and I say that because there actually have been phenomenal storylines. What's your thoughts going into Game 6? I know that place in Minnesota is going to be rocking. What should we be expecting tomorrow?
Yeah, there haven't been. I mean, half the series were wrapped up pretty quickly. With New York sweeping Philadelphia, and then OKC sweeping the Lakers. At least Cleveland and Detroit is worth watching, and so is Minnesota and San Antonio. But two of the 5 games have been blowouts. I mean, the Wolves have lost the last 2 games badly in San Antonio, so that's been a little tough to watch. It's an uphill struggle. It's one thing we're realizing is that Victor Wembanyama he's already the Defensive Player of the Year. It's ridiculous how good and how impactful this guy is, offensively, defensively. He is a real problem. Him getting ejected for that wild elbow on Naz Reid really, hurt his own team, and they lost that Game 4. That allowed the Wolves to tie that game up. But you're facing a real uphill battle with Wemby being so dominant when he's been on the floor. It's been incredible the way he impacts block shots offensively. He's so aggressive, and this guy is destined for greatness. It's going to take a lot to win 2 straight, considering that San Antonio hasn't lost 2 in a row since February the 1st. So it's been actually that mid-January. I misspeak there. It's been like 52 straight games. They haven't lost 2 in a row, and they have to lose 2 in a row to lose this series.
So what you mentioned Wembanyama, and everyone sees it when you turn on the TV. You're like, this player is not like the others. It's just incredible. And there's some great players, obviously, in the NBA, but he truly is a unicorn. Like, from your seat, with all your experience in professional basketball and the NBA, and you've seen some of the greats, obviously, of the last 20 years.
What is it? I mean, it's his sheer size, but it's not just his size. It's everything he can do with that size, right?
Yeah, because there have been guys who have been that big before. It's not very common, but it is, he's not the only one. But what separates him is the ability that he brings at that size. He's mesmerizing just to watch warm up. And I've watched him every time we warm up. I just sit and watch him because he's so fluid, and he's got such, most guys have to learn how to play with their size, or maybe never actually get to the point where they can handle that size. They look awkward, right? That's what happens when you're 7'6". But this guy is so fluid and has such a good handle that separates him from all the other guys that are that size. It's incredible. I mean, he's got crossovers. He can pull up for threes. He can drive on you. He can post up on you. He can hurt you in so many different ways. And he's just got the complete package, which separates him from some of the other big guys that you've seen around the league. And that's what makes this NBA great is, you face Luka Doncic through the years. Anthony Edwards and the Wolves have beaten Luka Doncic through the years. They've beaten Nikola Jokic. You've played Kevin Durant and beaten him. Devin Booker, all these great players, which is what makes the West so difficult. Every time you play, you're facing a superstar somewhere on some other team. And what Wemby has done is now risen to this level. Like I think probably as an individual, I would say even as good as Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is, I think Wemby right now is on a whole nother level. But I do think OKC has more of a balance behind Shai. They've got a few more key pieces probably than San Antonio does. But it's going to be fascinating if those two end up matching up in the West Finals.
Alan Horan, who is the Timberwolves broadcaster, joining us here on the Schaefer and Sliwa show. Timberwolves and the San Antonio Spurs play Game 6 tomorrow. Horan, a quick one on Anthony Edwards. I think for a lot of people who are NBA fans, he's one of my favorite players to watch in the league, and seems like that place has been perfect for him. His relationship with Chris Finch. What's kind of his next level? He's still so young, and he's got some great playoff experience already under his belt. He's played with some veterans. He's played a lot of meaningful games and series. What is the next kind of evolution for him?
I think it's probably, one thing that's really hampered him over the last, it's been about a month now, maybe a little longer, is just getting banged up. He's not been 100%. He's had knee injuries to both of his knees in the last 4 or 5 weeks. And it's just, it's incredible the way he's recovered so quickly. And a lot of people thought he was going to miss most of the postseason, and yet he's come back, only missing a couple of games. And being able to recover, that's one of his superpowers, is being able to, just that athleticism and the way he's able to use that to recover from injury. That's not easy to do, especially when most guys are missing a ton of time to recover from injury. He's able to bounce back from these injuries just at an incredible level, but he's still hampered. He's still not 100%, and that makes it really tough to go deep in the postseason. When you're going up against the likes of Wemby, and after that, if you go up against Shai and Oklahoma City, they need him at full strength. But I think going forward, the next step for Anthony Edwards is to lead his team and avoid this, finishing sixth in the West. I mean, yeah, they've avoided the play-in just barely for 2 straight years. They haven't been able to get up, and be a dominant team and set yourself up with some home court advantage. Be a 1 or 2 seed. They were 3 seed 2 years ago, but the last 2 years, number 6 seeds. And that's, I think you've got to try to avoid facing the more difficult teams. I mean, think about this gauntlet. The Wolves just beat Denver. That was a gauntlet to get through. They have to get through San Antonio, then they have to get through Oklahoma City. And that's just to get to the finals. That's probably the 3 best teams in the Western Conference. Somehow you have to avoid matching up with all 3 of those teams. That's a tough road to get through.
The West really is insane. It's amazing how it's like that year in and year out.
Lakers only lost because of the
officials.
The
Otherwise,
officials.
Lakers are winning that series.
Yeah, Horn, I don't know if you know that, but this is
it was all
they're
officiating.
only out because of the officiating.
Yeah, not the 4 games they lost by an average of 2.
I've heard this argument for years. That's last year against the Wolves, and just they never could get. See, that's where Ant comes back from an injury, and unfortunately, Doncic just couldn't get to a spot healthy enough to even play in that first round.
I want to go further on the conversation with the Thunder, who are already through. Obviously, it's the Western Conference Finals, another long layoff. Are we in the midst? Like, is this a Thunder dynasty that we're watching play out in front of our eyes? Will they win, let's say, 2 and 3 years, or 3 and 4 years, or 3 and 5 years? Like what we're watching, do you think that it continues this postseason and next year and the next couple of years to come?
I think a lot of people would say that, yeah, well, they're so young and they've got all this talent and they're so dominant. And yeah, they're going to dominate for the next 10 years. But, in professional sports these days, teams get really expensive really quickly. And this next year, starting next year, that's when who's their mate? That's when Chet Holmgren, his max extension checks in. And that's where J-Dub, his max extension kicks in. All of a sudden, you can't quite afford, a bunch of their guys. Alex Caruso.
Lou Dort's a question mark. I think Isaiah Hartenstein.
Lou Dort's making a lot of money. Their other big man that Hartenstein plays really well. You're not going to be able to afford all three of those guys. Now, they're still going to be really good, but this will happen if they decide to pay it for 1 year and one more year, but they have to get a little bit younger and a little more cost effective, because the bottom line is you can't have three max guys on your squad. So I think it's yet to be seen if they can sort of match this level and make a run for 4 or 5 years. I don't know. We'll see how that plays out.
Or just a little more broader of an NBA question. They have been, they're kind of working on different ways to make the product better, or is it the tanking the biggest problem? Is it load management? Is there something that the NBA just structurally, the way they are today, that you'd like to see change? Then maybe it is this new, they're going to change the system here to try to have less teams tanking. But is there something that sticks out to you? I feel like when something's wrong in the NBA, everybody shouts on a microphone about it. What do you think needs to be changed, if anything, in the league?
Yeah, I think tanking's been a problem for a long time, and it's unfortunate. I think that the league has waited so long and gone through this every single year. It seems to get worse and worse. And teams are always going to do what's best for them. I don't blame teams at all. If you're the Wizards and the way things played out this past year, that's exactly what you would do. That's your best option. And there were not too many teams that are in that boat. Even if the odds aren't great that you're going to get the number one pick, it's still better than what they've got. So you have to come up with a new way to avoid this tanking. And Adam Silver and the league think they might have solved that. They think they have an idea of how to do that going forward. But we'll wait and see. I just wish the league was more proactive than reactive, not wait too long. The other area that really bugs me out is the fact that all of the flopping, all of the exaggerated contact, and you're going to see a ton of it, especially if San Antonio and Oklahoma City matchup. As great as Wemby is, he goes down an awful lot. On some minor contract. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, dominant player, MVP. I get it, and it's not because he flops all the time, but it's the anywhere from 2, 3, or 4, 5 times a game that he does sell contact. That's the stuff that's got to get cleaned up, because it's only going to get worse, and players are getting really frustrated by it. And you just can't have these guys committing, selling. There was in the first round against Denver, important game. It was game number 2 in the series, and Jokic and Denver are rallying back in the fourth quarter, but they have to steal a possession. The Wolves are up by 6. Jokic waits till the Wolves already used their challenge. And guess what he does against Rudy Gobert? He just flops. I mean, he flops. He draws a charge. The officials fall for it, and it nearly cost the Wolves the game. And it's an absolute joke that the league doesn't step in. And maybe if you miss the call in the game, fine, but fine them afterwards. There's a rule in place. There is a flopping rule in the NBA, but they only called it 4 times all year. 4 times all year. Wow. Everybody's playing 82 games. Multiply that times 29 teams, 30 teams. Cut it in half, because obviously 2 teams play each other. That's a ton of times, and it's not called enough. And they can also find players after the game, and realizing, they're embarrassing the officials by flopping to the floor. That's what you're doing. You're trying to bait the officials into making those calls. So that's one area that I really feel passionately about. Like, it's gotten worse and worse. And I just feel like if you don't step up and if you don't be proactive about it, it's going to get to the point where it's too late. I can tell you a lot of people are not interested in watching Oklahoma City. I'm certainly, I might not even watch any of the OKC games. I have no interest in watching them mostly because of that. And I think they've been able to push the envelope. Teams and players always push the envelope to get further and further advantages. And they've taken advantage of it. And the league, for some reason, has not stepped in. And the officials refuse to kind of step in and call them and fine them and make those guys pay for blatant, turning into a soccer match, man. We don't have people writhing around, rolling on the ground, in trying to draw a whistle. It's just, it's something I think the league has to step up and address.
We'll see if the T-Wolves can win in extra time tomorrow night. In Game 6 against the Spurs. That was my soccer reference right there. So,
he's a soccer guy here.
Not necessarily. Well, we had a soccer guest earlier.
Yeah, we just had an SDFC guest on, so he's in soccer mode right now.
Alan, thank you so much, man, for hopping on.
Appreciate you,
Warren. You got it, man. I appreciate you guys.
Thank you, man.
All
Appreciate you.
Alan Horton on the call tomorrow night. Again, T-Wolves meeting the Spurs in Game 6 in Minneapolis. Let's get back to the Padres on the other side. How far would you go to address the Padres' needs in 2026? We'll explain that on the other side. Plus, the wrap is coming up. Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, Schaefer and Sliwa, some interesting comments there from T-Wolves broadcaster Alan Horton that we'll get back to later this hour. Why did my camera move again, Alan? This thing. We got some things I need to figure out.
It's fine. It's not that big.
There we go.
You just hit you hit your preset.
I hit
it goes
preset.
right back to it.
It's a huge deal.
But the thing that's funny to me,
I get so mad at it.
The way you were sitting, you were so slouched. It looked like you were. It looked like you were just like, that's it. I'm mailing it in.
I do slouch.
I had a couple people texted me. Why did they like really like the idea of opening cards during the end of the show?
Someone like that.
Yeah, I had a couple.
Because it's like atypical.
I'm like,
we can listen.
We pulled a Kyle Korver card. Is that
That's
really?
How you know you should stop the segment, right?
Is that why you got excited? Am I pulled Kyle Korver?
That must be it. Okay, so we talked about this before the show today, and I think it's an interesting topic. Ethan Salas, we've touched on this, is having a great year by all intents and purposes in AA. He's hitting over 300, a number of home runs. He's been awesome.
You open up Twitter, somebody's putting something
about
on Ethan Salas. Yeah.
So, okay, fast forward to when Ethan Salas' name is going to come up in conversation. That'll be the trade deadline.
Yeah.
A year ago, they were willing to move arguably a bigger prospect in Leo DeVries, and they traded him away for Mason Miller, right? Obviously. If we get to the deadline and the Padres have needs, and one thing I know, they will have needs. If we get to the deadline and they have needs and they're in playoff positioning, are you okay with the idea or not of moving Ethan Salas to improve your chances in 2026?
Well, there's a tough one for me.
That's the question.
Because my initial reaction to all this like wild trades and trading the farm, I think I'm more just naturally like, yeah, I'm not a big gambler.
Okay.
That's me.
Yeah.
Now, it's weird with San Diego because if I told you, let's say I said 5 years ago, say 7 years ago, you're going to have a general manager that's going to be freaking, I don't care. I'm trading whatever it is. It's not that I don't value it, but I'm trying to win right now. And I'm using the farm system basically just to help me today. And frankly, I'm not looking at the future.
Right.
Would you have said, and you already knew what the results are going to be. You know you're not going to make a World Series. You don't know the players that are coming, but you know they're going to be impact players. You know that you're going to make the playoffs 4 out of 6 years. Would you say that that's a good idea or not?
I would say it is, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
But to your point, people invest differently. There's people that are conservative in nature. There's people that are more aggressive in nature.
Scared money don't make money. Every time they say that, I hold my money even tighter. I'm like, what? What does that even mean?
In all walks of life, some people vacation, they go to 5-star hotels. Other people vacation, they live out of a tent. So people are unique. We all have different qualities or things that, we tend to like more than others. Obviously, AJ Preller is more of that riverboat gambler. But here's the thing. I think I am as well as a fan. And I always look at it like you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. The Juan Soto trade that didn't fully work out, I completely agree with that, obviously, with the benefit of hindsight. I love taking that shot. That was a moment in time in San Diego, and it's still a good time to be a Padres fan, but that was special. I remember saying the day they traded for him, it is a moment in time. He won't be here for 15 years. He's going to make $500 or $600 million. Enjoy this. This could be really special. And they did have a very good team that year in 2022. Unfortunately, Tatis ruined what could have been better. That suspension also in 2022. That's neither here nor there.
Tatis
but you know
ruining today, and
he ruined the 2022 season.
Yep.
But you know what I mean? I like going for it. Now you're right. You got to win, and that's on Preller and the team, and they haven't fully won. But I'm not saying I want to trade Salas because that's not how I feel. But I am a little torn. If somebody told me you got a much better chance to win right now, but it's going to hurt if you do it, I still consider winning right now.
I don't think it's weird because if it almost like depends where you are. Like I think for San Diego, I think a franchise that was kind of down in the dump. I think a franchise that just lost the Chargers, it will go down as one of the biggest black eyes this city ever has. And like I think about never winning a championship. Like there's a part of me, again, this is somebody who's conservative that would tell you that, yeah, I'm not crazy about trading all these guys. The DeVries thing, I even still sit here today. I'm like,
was that right?
Well, and I say that because I look at some of these other players, Abrams and Wood, and I look at all these guys. I'd be lying to you if I didn't say I cringe every time I look. I see some of their stats. I'm like, this guy's doing what? But something has happened over the last 6 years that if you don't take the chances that you did and go all in and try to tell your city, no, we're genuinely trying to win, you don't have the following you have right now around the San Diego Padres. Maybe you don't sell the team for $3.9 billion and like the momentum that you have and the selling X amount of tickets at Petco Park. So if you told me it was in a different market or it was a different time in Padres history, maybe I'd be more hesitant. With all that being said, I'd really like to keep Ethan Salas.
And I agree with that. And I'd love to hear from our listeners. 877-767-4760 if you want to weigh in on that. Would you move Ethan Salas to improve your chances in 2026? 877-767-4760. What's going on with this camera, dude? All right, we'll get to the wrap on the other side. This is Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760. We're live on the iHeartRadio app. I can't deal with this.
This is great. Hit preset.
This report is sponsored by Unbound.org. The Padres lost to the Brewers this afternoon, 7-1. It's the first time the team has lost a road series this season. They move on to start a weekend set in Seattle tomorrow night. There are no games in the NBA playoffs today, but we got a pair of game sixes tomorrow night. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice: continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
That was amazing. That break was amazing.
We figured out our cameras for YouTube.
You almost lost it. You did lose it.
I was so mad.
San Diego Sports 760 congratulates all our winners in iHeartRadio's Thank a Teacher powered by Donors Choose. There's still time to donate to a classroom project, and your donation will be matched by Donors Choose. Help us say thank you to the educators shaping our future now at iHeartRadio.com/teachers. iHeartRadio.com/teachers.
Hey, before we get to the wrap, Schaefer and Sliwa, by the way, San Diego Sports 760 will give away Rod Stewart tickets between now and 5 p.m. So be listening for your chance to win Rod Stewart tickets to send here in San Diego. But before we get to the wrap, the NBA has had a postseason game every night since the start of the postseason.
That's right.
Because you had the first round, obviously, there's all these series. The second round has had, a game every night.
Wait, and we can go back. The in-season, or not the in-season, the play-in.
I agree.
Which went Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or maybe there was a day off. I think they had a day off and then they played Friday.
But it's been weeks where they've been playing every day.
Yep.
My wife is so obsessed with the NBA postseason. Every night she's watching games. I kid you not. I've talked about this a lot. I'm not kidding.
She drinks a 6-pack and
she's just watching intently.
Love it.
But she told me today, she was like, I'm honestly mad that there's no game tonight because it doesn't make sense. The Spurs and the T-Wolves haven't played since 2 days ago, yet they're off tonight. And the Cavs
and they were
and the
off
Pistons
yesterday.
are also
Cavs and Pistons
tomorrow,
played
right?
yesterday and they play tomorrow. What are we doing here?
Here's where it gets even worse. You want to know what's even worse? I just saw this on social media. If the Cavs Pistons series goes 7, it's not even on television. It's on Prime. Because of some like the 7th game on a Sunday has got to be on television.
Wait, but that's happened before.
Have we had a game
where it's
7
on one of the
Prime?
streaming networks? Probably. That doesn't sound that crazy to me anymore.
Game 7?
That doesn't sound that crazy to me anymore.
Yeah, I guess. But wouldn't you? I feel like that's made for television. It's like Sunday.
Yeah, I'm with your wife and with probably every other NBA fan.
But
by
the
the way,
streaming,
and Padres played a little bit earlier today too. I'm like, what are we watching today?
Right. I
watch
know. What am I supposed to watch tonight?
What are we
What's on
watching?
tonight?
Murder,
Seriously,
She Wrote?
What's on tonight?
Hockey.
I'm out to.
That's why I said it like that. Hockey.
Did you watch Murder, She Wrote? Little Angela Lansbury?
No, I always had. Was Murder, She Wrote the one that came on after WWF at the time? Or no, it was Murder, She Wrote and then WWF?
Was it?
Does that make
Brent
sense?
would know. I don't. Is that
Do
accurate?
you remember there was a time here when I was growing up, it was always on USA, right?
Not originally. Originally, it was on CBS because it was on Sunday nights. It was after 60 Minutes.
I did not watch it.
After all that,
Reruns might have been
Oh,
on
yeah.
USA
It
before
was on.
Dude,
Raw and stuff.
Dude, TV back in the day. This is a strong take here. You didn't have
So
a
much
ton
easier?
Of no, you didn't have a lot of options.
Yeah.
Like today, are people? If Murder She Wrote came out today, is it going to be like universally like beloved?
They're
Yeah.
allegedly rebooting it.
Okay, so maybe they are. But you see what I'm saying? If we had never had it before and it came out today, is it like a talking point for the next 25 years?
Brent, you have in the chat here, you have a couple of comments here on your latest choice of music. They like the music. So
Yeah.
they like the Rasta.
Yeah.
As I've been told.
It's very good. All right, let's get to the wrap.
It's time for the wrap. Presented by Sombrero Mexican Food. Check out their website at sombreromex.com.
Are you excited to see Shakira, Madonna, and BTS perform at the first ever halftime show at the World Cup final?
Very specific.
Give me the lineup again.
Shakira, right?
Okay.
Madonna.
Okay.
And then who's the boy band?
BTS.
BTS. You know BTS.
Just huge fans of BTS. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Shakira's a legend.
No doubt.
And she's
Madonna's a
phenomenal.
legend.
Madonna's a legend. And she's
BTS.
phenomenal.
BTS is a boy band.
Yep. Yeah, I'm okay with it. I mean, Am I going to watch it like it's the halftime show of the Super Bowl? Probably not. But even the halftime show of Super Bowl, I'm not the guy for you.
How did they not do this sooner? I mean, this is such a massive television event worldwide.
Sure.
Obviously, the World Cup final. I'm surprised they haven't had halftime entertainment previously. So I feel like that's a huge win. If you're Shakira,
that's
who's already
such a good point.
To your point, a global icon, Madonna, global icon, and now you're in front of 2 billion viewers, like it's just insane. The reach of the World Cup final, probably compared to the Super Bowl, isn't comparable around the world. So I'm shocked they hadn't done it previously. So I'm on board for it.
This is almost like one of those. Remember we were talking about earlier in the week, the NFL is going to do a Thanksgiving Eve football game. And we're like, why the hell did we not think of that? This is kind of falls into the same thing. How do you not have a halftime performance?
Next question.
Is SDFC back after last night's 5-zip shutout over Austin FC?
No. And I'll tell you why. Because it doesn't mean anything if they don't come back with a W on Saturday. They play Cincinnati on Saturday. Cincinnati played Miami yesterday. They lost 5-3. Loved having Dreyer on. Obviously, just get his perspective and how important that one was to SDFC. But I don't think you can win one match and then all of a sudden say we're back. Get 6 points in the matter of 4 days or whatever the case is. Then I think you're building some real momentum. I'm going to say no until Saturday.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Also, it's just such an interesting year with the stop and start nature that I just want to see where they are at the World Cup break.
Yeah.
And then I'll reassess. They're at 7 weeks. There's 50 days off. 50. How do you even maintain your fitness level? They're taking 50 days off for the World Cup break. I want them to be well-positioned come the World Cup break, which is like 10 days away. But no, I don't think they're back yet. Next question.
Can you guys sleep knowing that today is the NFL schedule release day?
They can put these out right now, I think, at 7:30 Eastern. And
So
then
it's
the
right now?
social media graphics, I think, come out at either 7:30 or 8 p.m. Eastern tonight.
Yeah, this isn't anything to me. It doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't. I mean, I get it. And it's not to say that there aren't a lot of people that don't like it. It's not to say that this isn't big across the country. This is not to say that there aren't a lot of NFL fans that love when the schedule release comes out. For me personally, if the Chargers were still here, if Dean Spanos wasn't a piece of, you know what, then yeah, I'd be a little bit more into it. Bring up the NFL, I'll bring up Dean.
Yeah, the one thing that people really look forward to today, it's less about the schedule now, and it's more about the social media releasing of the schedule. Like, how is Mike Vrabel and Diana Rossini going to be worked into some of these releases? Because the NFL has said that they'll allow it, by the way. They want the teams to use their judgment, but they're not going to force that type of content away from it. Some of these teams are so creative in the way they release the schedule, and I'm seeing some of it begin to kind of flow onto my timeline right now. But yeah, do I care if the Chargers play the Broncos week 4, week 6? I literally don't care. I have no concern at all, but I do think the social media aspect of it is pretty creative. It's a long way of me saying I don't really care. Next question.
Do you agree with Timberwolves broadcaster Alan Horton that flopping is the biggest problem in the NBA?
I say no. I think the NBA's got, I think if I told you, give me the biggest narratives this season that were negative stories around the NBA, there were one game into the regular season when the gambling scandal went down.
Yeah, that's right.
That probably wasn't a good one.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think most of the season, you reached a lot of different points during the year where people were talking about the tanking. Load management's been a big, issue. So I think flopping's an issue. I was a little surprised to hear Alan Horton say that. I mean, he was very passionate against the Thunder.
I know.
Which I was, I just watched a 4-game set, and it's the most Oklahoma City Thunder games I've watched since the NBA Finals when they played, each one of those games. I don't know if I walk away saying to myself that the only thing I remember with this team is that they flop. I feel like maybe I'm wrong. Maybe, there's another broadcaster, somebody, a pro's pro. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but I don't walk away saying that's what I remember about the Oklahoma City Thunder. So I don't think I don't think flopping is the biggest issue.
Yeah, here's what's interesting. Because again, I'm looking at it through we've been watching a lot of Thunder. My wife is obsessed with Shea. And I've actually come to enjoy watching the Thunder, my honest opinion. And I am now, I've reached the point where I feel like people disparage Shea, and I don't feel like they're actually watching. I think they just do it because everyone's doing it. So it's like people are just jumping on the bandwagon of like, look at this play. He intentionally tried to draw a foul. I'm like, yeah, well, look at the NBA. He's not the only one to do it. And you're taking away a lot of the great things he's doing beyond drawing fouls and getting to the free throw line. He's not great because he draws fouls. They're not great because they draw fouls. Maybe it's an element of what they do. They're not the only team. You went through some of the foul call stats or the free throw stats.
I'm surprised Horton said that.
So, yeah, but I mean, he's not the only one to feel that way. That is true. There's a narrative that Oklahoma City flops, right? Or gets to the free throw line, and it's a tough watch.
You know, Shea, I will give them this. I mean, Shea is very creative at drawing fouls.
Yeah.
But I've seen a lot of that in the NBA where I almost got used to it. And again, I'm not telling you I'm a fan of it, but I think Luka knows how to draw a foul. He's very creative in doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Austin Reeves, I think, is creative. LeBron can get you, kind of trick you into a foul. Maybe it's a pump fake, this, whatever, but that's more part of the game. Watching Shea for 4 straight games, I thought there were some moments where, yes, he can draw a foul, but I don't feel like that's the only thing I walked away with as part of his game.
We can continue to react to that. Plus, we have updated MLB power rankings that we'll share with you on the other side. Plus, we're giving away Rod Stewart tickets for this June in San Diego. We'll do that in the next 15 minutes. We're here until 6 p.m. Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, Schaefer and Slee with San Diego Sports 760. Be listening. We're giving away Rod Stewart tickets in the next 8 minutes. So be listening for your chance to win tickets to see Rod Stewart here in San Diego, June 12th. That's less than a month away, Alan. I think like 28
Let's
days.
go.
How many are you one of those guys that knows how many days are in every month? As if there's two types of people, the people that know how many days are in every month and then people that don't know how many days are in every month. I don't know how many days are in every month.
Yeah, I wish I was more detail-oriented in that respect in my life.
How do people know it? I think there's a jingle or something.
What do you mean?
Like January, February, March, April, like people say some song or count on their fingers and they know which one is 30 and which is 31.
No idea.
I didn't get that in grade school. They weren't singing the month song.
I definitely was not up to date on that one.
So do you know, like if I say June?
No, the only I know is February's got 28 days and every 4 years got a 29th.
Can you imagine being born on February 29th? That's
my cousin's February 28th.
That's way better.
Yeah.
You get that every year.
Yeah.
I worked with a guy
that February 29th.
Yeah, the main engineer for the Badger football games was a leap year guy. In reality, he was like he's 60 something, but he would always joke that's like, yeah, I just turned 15 today.
Like, what's that like as a 7-year-old when everyone's got a birthday but you?
So you just probably do. Yeah.
That's sad.
They'll be okay.
They skip the day.
Every 4 years. You only get one every 4 years.
And who came up with this formula where it's like, yo, we got it down. Every 4 years, just throw an extra day.
Are you a fan of the like daylight savings?
No, I'm so anti.
So just keep it the way.
That's the only reason why I want to be president. I'm gonna be like, here's the one thing I'm gonna do.
Yeah, I'm with you. We don't need that. Let's keep it as it is.
Who needs it? Who is asking? Who's like, yeah, we gotta get. I think it's for farmers. I've been told.
Okay,
but okay, bring your flashlight. Bring your iPhone out there. I mean, I hate to say it that bluntly, but
Jesus.
I mean, I don't want to set the whole nation has to turn their clock.
John's on a heater here.
I'm
going after the farmers.
No, I mean, I'm pro farmer. I love produce.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that one.
What were we talking about?
No idea, to be honest.
Either do I.
What were we going to talk about?
Here's what we're going to talk about. MLB's power rankings have been updated.
By the way, I got people saying, "Oh, it came out 4 days. It came out this morning
today."
Okay.
I mean, here's the thing. Power rankings are obviously a moment in time.
Yeah.
We're not going to reference these in 4 months, but like I was curious when you told me there were new power rankings. I'm thinking to myself, I bet the Padres are top 5. That's what I thought when we talked this morning.
Okay.
Because they were coming off that win. They were 8 games over 500. Their record was like a top 5.
You teared up too. You said, like I said, I could tell in your voice you were tearing up. You said, we're top 5.
But where are the Padres?
We're top 5. All right, Atlanta's number 1, first squad to get 30 wins already. Okay. By the way, Atlanta's going to be a problem. Dodgers number 2, even with their struggles, put them at 2. Yankees at 3, 27-17. The Cubbies 27-16 at number 4. Tampa number 5. Milwaukee number 6. The Padres number 7.
The Padres were 7th heading into today.
7th heading into
today.
They
lose 7-1.
Yep.
I'm such a recency bias guy that I'm like, they can't be 7th anymore.
I'm with you.
You know what I mean?
I'm on the same exact way.
Like not 7th
when
anymore.
I saw this morning before they played,
like,
the fact that Milwaukee was in front of them, I'm like, this is BS.
You think they put that?
I'm like, did Passion put this out? Was this a Rosenthal?
Right.
I was going after everybody.
Well, apparently the Padres didn't put it on the bulletin board because they lost today 7-1.
I know.
So they weren't inspired by it. I mean, I think it gives you a look at where you are compared to others right now. Mm-hmm. Right. Basically, what people are saying is Padres have a playoff team right now, which is true based on their record. Now, based on their performance, we've discussed that a lot. But yeah, are they one of the 10 better teams in the sport right now?
Goodness. Yeah, they're -3 in run differential.
Season's over.
They're -3 in run differential. You know who's starting? Are they starting to ball out a little bit? Yeah, Philly's starting to play a little bit better.
They played a lot better. What's the Dodgers run differential? I hate to be that guy, but what is it? I'm assuming it's plus.
What do you think it is? If Padres are -3, what do you think the Dodgers are?
Actually have a worse record, right? By half game.
Dodgers are half a game. No, I think
they're tied because the Padres lost today.
Yeah,
exactly.
they'll play Giants.
So I'll say plus 31.
63.
Plus 63. Really?
Want to know Atlanta's?
Plus. Oh, this is like Price is Right. Like, I don't want to go over. Plus 77.
93.
Jeez.
The Atlanta Braves are plus
93 in 40 games.
93.
Like, do the math on that. They're outscoring their opponent by over 2 runs per game. Every game they play, they've outscored their opponents by an average of over 2 runs per game. That's insane. Over the course of a year, that's insane. So are we saying that?
I think I'm scared of the Braves.
But are you scared of -3 run differential being telling?
Yeah.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah, listen, there's a lot. Like, if you look inside the numbers, there is a lot. Like, this is not a good example. Okay, I'm going to prep you for this. This is not a good example. But if I told you that, hey, here's my weight, and you just looked at the number.
All right, I'll throw out a number.
And you would say, and you're like, hey, that's a pretty good weight. But I didn't tell you I cut off my left arm. Okay. So like,
okay. So yeah,
the details.
You only weigh 195. Yeah, but I cut off one of my limbs.
The details are important. And I think with the Padres right now, it's like you look at their record.
Yeah.
And you can't stop saying, and listen, we've done this all season.
Has someone cut their arm off on the team?
I'm guilty of this in regards to, yeah, but look at their record.
Yep.
Yeah, but look, they're winning. And we've had other people try to tell us, and every time they try to tell us, we don't want to pay attention to it. And frankly, it was no different last night after Sheets hit the 3-run bomb.
Correct.
Right? So we want to keep kind of amping ourselves that, yeah, but it's okay because however you win, you win. And good teams find ways to win and bad teams find ways to win.
True.
We keep doing this, right?
Keep doing it.
So we might as well like call ourselves out. If you're a -3 in a run differential, if your starting pitching is struggling,
if your offense is
offense is truly the worst, one of the worst offenses in all of baseball,
accurate,
then you only lost the weight because you cut off your left arm.
And to your point, dude, I spent an hour last night doing a wrap-up show, singing the same song, which is like, hey, give them credit. They're finding ways. These all count. But then the next day they lose 7-1 and don't show up in any capacity. And I'm thinking kind of the exact opposite 24 hours later. So I think the truth is they aren't the 7th best team in baseball, even though some random power ranking says they are. But I also think the truth is they're not the 23rd best either, just based on the fact that they're -3 in run differential and their offense has struggled and their starting pitching is a question mark. They're somewhere in between is where they are. They're a good team. I don't think they're a great team, but I think they have the makings of being a good team. If. But the record has to count.
Let me tell you, if you told me right now there's 7 games over 500 and they got some starting pitching issues, but it's primarily because of some injuries and some guys they thought they could count on. They haven't been able to count on. Lucas Giolito, they signed, give him a little bit of time. Maybe he could be an impact player, but their offense was kind of carrying them a little bit. Then we could have a different conversation. Mm-hmm. The problem is their offense is so bad. It's really, for me now, it's coming down to the offense because I still think from a pitching perspective, let's see what Giolito does. Let's see what happens in the next 30 days and see if we can get some updates on Pivetta and Musgrove.
Right.
These guys can all come back and be great. If your squad can't score a run, you're going to lose 2 of 3 games to the Cubs and you're out in the wild card.
Right. If you can't score a run, you'll lose all the games. But yeah, your point is
might win one because Manny churns on one, but like ultimately you're going to lose.
Same story we've talked about, the end of the 2024 playoffs, the end of the 2025 playoffs. Hopefully that's not the story. Well, hopefully they make the playoffs.
And I would say the story of the first month and a half, part of that is they've had an incredible clutch gene. They've been incredible in late game in late inning situations, but that's not something that you want to kind of bank on.
Completely agree. All right. Call right now if you want 2 free tickets to see Rod Stewart right here in San Diego, June 12th at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. Caller 7. You have 2 free tickets, but you need to call right now. An amazing giveaway. 877-767-4760. Call right now if you want 2 absolutely free tickets to see Rod Stewart June 12th at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. Tickets and info at Ticketmaster.com. Caller 7. You've got those 2 free tickets, but call right now. 877-767-4760. If you missed our conversation with Anders Dreyer of SDFC, you'll hear it in the 5 o'clock hour. Thoughts on LeBron's future as well coming up. Hour 3 of Schaefer Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760, and live on the iHeartRadio app is next.
This report is sponsored by Unbound.org. The Padres lost today in Milwaukee 7-1. It's their first series. It's their first road series loss of the season. They move on to start a weekend set in Seattle tomorrow night. First pitch will be at 6:40. There are no games in the NBA playoffs today. We got a pair of game sixes though tomorrow. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice: continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
It's Schaefer and Sliwa. John Schaefer and San Diego's own Alan Sliwa. Here's Schaefer and Sliwa.
All right, Schaefer and Sliwa, final hour today. Final hour of Schaefer and Sliwa. If you missed our conversation with Anders Dreyer, STFC scored yesterday in that 5-0 win. You'll hear it coming up at 5:30. Reacting to a Padres loss in Milwaukee wasn't great. Like, if I'm going to be honest, wasn't great. Trailed 6-0 after 2. Didn't score until an unearned run in the 9th.
It was a disaster. What do you mean it wasn't great? That's a disaster.
Great,
but
yesterday was good.
Yesterday was incredible.
The series on its face wasn't good. It would have been a disaster without Gavin Sheets. Getting swept there, we would have been skies falling.
Yeah, one pitch away from a disaster.
They hadn't lost a road series all year. It was bound to happen.
That's an unbelievable stat. They were 6-0-1.
It's pretty good
coming in. I don't disagree with that. Yeah. I think I'm just starting to look at the Padres more based off of that 6-9 stretch.
Yeah, they were
over the last 15.
9, and now they're 6-9. The last
6-9 over their last stuff. So I'm basically basing a lot of my energy towards that. Now, again, if they'd have won today, we're having a completely different conversation, but they did it. And how they went out, I think, to me, is what stuck out. Down 6-0 before you can sit down and enjoy half of your lunch. Not even before that.
Right. I didn't even get a chance to enjoy my cheeseburger and pancakes. By the time my cheeseburger and pancakes were in front of me, it was 6-0. It was unbelievable. That's what Alan had yesterday for lunch, believe it or not.
Today's lunch was even more absurd.
Because you said you were with family and you had the whole
aunt's house and this is what they do.
Yada.
It's like you come over and it's a whole spread. Now, like Thanksgiving. I'm like, I'm going to fall asleep.
I have found out in my 6 or 7 weeks working with you
that I won't stop eating lately.
I was wondering, like, are you a big eater? Does your weight fluctuate based on how much you eat?
No, here's what's happening. I'm kind of, sometimes I go extreme one way or the other.
Really?
Yeah, like I've done this a couple times early on in the show. I used to be pretty good at just fasting. I would fast no problem, like 2-3 o'clock until I eat my first meal. Okay, and that's when I'm at my.
I can't do that.
I'm at my best
doing that.
No question about that. I even actually did 1 or 2 shows early where I didn't eat until after the show. Now I never go that far, but that was, and my energy was phenomenal.
Now you went with the opposite approach yesterday with the midday cheeseburger.
Now I'm like in a, when things are just, when you feel like here's what's going to happen in like the next 30 days, I'll probably flip a switch and then start going like the other way. Right now, I'm just gonna go ahead and just eat whatever the hell you eat.
Okay, so I'm gonna segue here for whatever reason. This morning, you do your daily hour-long YouTube show, Hoops Talk with Alan Sliwa, where you talk Lakers, but you talk NBA. And today, who'd you have on? Eric Pincus, who covers the NBA, and he had some interesting thoughts on
Report. Yeah.
He had thoughts on where LeBron could land, and it wasn't Los Angeles.
I thought you were going to ask something like, did you eat while that podcast was going on today? I did not.
Wait, did you have breakfast today?
I might have grabbed something when I was at the coffee shop.
Now, what's your breakfast look like real quick before we hear about LeBron?
Typically, I don't eat breakfast. So a lot of times I don't eat breakfast.
Typically, but also sometimes you fast. I found out yesterday you're eating pancakes and burgers.
They had one of those, like, I went to, what's the coffee shop? Oh, Better Buzz.
Yeah.
All over San Diego. Yeah. I go there to just get a cup of coffee. And my game plan walking in was, I'm just going to get a black coffee. Way they got like all the pastries displayed. They had like 4 rows here of just like pastries.
What'd you grab?
It was like a breakfast bar, but it's got, what's it got in it? It's definitely a pastry, but it's got like some nuts in it and raisins and all that stuff.
It's healthy, because
it's
if
not
a
healthy.
Pastry,
no, it's not healthy.
Pastry implies not healthy.
It's not healthy. Like it wasn't. Let's put it this way: I didn't get oatmeal. Okay,
Right, but the way I thought you positioned, like, well, it's got some nuts.
but it does. Like it has nuts and raisins or whatever. But then it's also like coated with chocolate, and I don't know what's in there.
So how
So
often?
I just looked at it and I'm like, yeah, I'm
I
gonna
need
need
it.
one of those.
So how often in the morning before your show are you grabbing coffee and the pastry?
Maybe once a week. Not
Okay,
often.
That's not bad.
That's not often.
Eric Pincus.
Yeah.
What did he tell you
Do you
about
eat in the morning?
Yeah,
You a breakfast guy
every
at all?
single day? I would never skip breakfast. My wife goes to Orange Theory. She hasn't eaten a thing. I would die.
So what do you
I
eat?
don't-
You just eat something like
either
a banana or yeah.
Exactly right. A banana, cashews, oatmeal occasionally, a piece
What a
of
wuss.
toast.
You should have a chocolate croissant.
That's what my son would have for breakfast. But no, I'm a pretty plain eater. You'll learn.
All right, Eric Pincus.
Yeah.
I got you. All right, so we're talking LeBron. Yesterday there was all these conversations about LeBron and is he being disrespected by the Lakers, blah blah blah. Honestly, for me, like that storyline, that being one of the main storylines coming out right now about LeBron.
Mhm.
It's like, here are the Lakers, I thought had a pretty good season. I thought LeBron was tremendous the last 2.5 months. And it's like this narrative of he's not being appreciated and this happened in a game and they didn't give him the game ball. I'm like, what are we doing here?
Right.
Like, is this really a conversation? I heard Brian Windhorst this morning basically say that if the Lakers, if they want to give LeBron a disc, or if they want to ask LeBron for a discount, they better know who they're picking up and where that money's going. So, hey, LeBron, we're going to give you 20, but look at what we already got in place. So now we can actually.
So they need a plan. They can't just be like, yo, we want to pay you half of what you're worth.
And
Well, what are
then,
you gonna
I
do
mean,
with that
but
money?
I think that's kind of common sense. Like, I think
Yeah, I
the
was gonna
Lakers,
say, is
I think the Lakers would do that. But what Windhorst said at the end, he said it that LeBron would rather walk from the Lakers and go get $15 million somewhere else than take, let's say, 20 or 25 with the Lakers, but the team doesn't really improve, or if he feels like he's being underappreciated. Was that kind of like that?
Why? But I mean, you've spent 8 years somewhere. I'm talking LeBron.
Yeah.
They drafted your son.
Mm-hmm.
You've played with him for 2 years. Tell me if I'm wrong here. You're way more, intimately close to this story than I am over the last decade.
Yeah.
But has it been so awful? Has LeBron been treated so terribly over these 8 years? Or has he been treated like, he should be appreciated or should be
listen,
treated?
I'll give you I think LeBron's one of the greatest to ever do it. I think he really, really helped turn the Lakers franchise because they were down. By the time he came, they were down and out. Can we please stop this narrative that LeBron's not getting enough in LA? Like
Not getting, say it again? Or
can we stop the narrative of LeBron's not getting enough attention or not getting enough from the franchise? Please. I don't know. That's like the exhausting thing for me that comes with LeBron. Again, I'm supporting LeBron. I think LeBron is incredible. I'm quicker to protect LeBron than to go at him. But it's things like this that anger people about the LeBron narrative.
But don't you then also agree, and I made this point, I think, yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
like LeBron, you don't hold all of the cards. I'm not saying you don't hold cards or don't have leverage or you aren't a very good or great player. He's a great player. Nobody's saying this guy's washed or he's done. I'm just saying he's entering year 24.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, with all due respect, you haven't been winning at the highest clip with the Lakers right now. Like, it's not like their success or failure is solely tied to his return. If he returns, they're still not the favorite in the West. If he leaves, they'll still have issues that will need to be addressed.
And if he I think the biggest thing to pay attention to is they have a franchise player. He's there. It's Luka. So, like, whether he's there or not, the franchise player is Luka. And again, I give LeBron a lot of credit. I think LeBron has been incredible over this 2.5 months, kind of playing a different role for the Lakers. I thought he was the best player, again, the Houston series of anybody that played for either team. And he was the best Laker during the Thunder series. But you're right, they do have options. This was an interesting one. So Eric Pincus, who covers the NBA and the Lakers for Bleacher Report, Eric Pincus doesn't typically just say things to say things. Like, that's not his style. I said, Pincus, what do you think happens, with LeBron, offseason, everything else? He says just straight up, he's like, I think he goes to Golden State. I'm like, okay, well, why would he go to Golden State? And he said that Golden State gives him the proximity to still be close to all his family.
Mm-hmm.
Golden State gives him the ability to play with Steph Curry and one of his close friends in Draymond Green. They're going to get Jimmy Butler probably in December or January. That's a franchise that still believes they have some kind of shot. I mean, it'd be one of the oldest teams in the NBA. So and maybe that's also just like a attention thing. Maybe that's also some box office that comes with it. Again, maybe it's his chance to just go play with a couple of guys that it's like, if it's my final year in the NBA, let me try this out. But he kind of threw me off. He's like, hey, if I told you one place I think he's going to the Golden State Warriors.
Here's the thing, though. If he goes to Golden State, that reminds me of like when you get two former heavyweight champions in a ring, but they're 11 years past their prime. Like, to your point, it's all theatrics and box office. Putting Steph Curry with LeBron James does not have the impact today that it had 5 years ago today. I'm sorry. There's no way it does.
It doesn't, but let me push the other way here for a quick second. Steph Curry's still phenomenal when he's healthy.
When he's healthy.
LeBron is still really,
Very,
really
very
good when he's healthy. So I think there's a little bit of like, don't we just have to get into the playoffs?
But isn't Luka really good when he's healthy? Isn't LeBron really good when he's healthy? You know, as in what gives Golden State the upper hand in that equation?
I don't think there's an upper hand. I think it's like
change of scenery.
Yeah, I think it would be for other reasons. Because here could be the reality. He could be saying to himself, well, I'm going to lose in LA
or I'm going to lose.
Or I'm going to lose in the Bay. And I've been already in Los Angeles for 8 years. Is there anything really else to do? Maybe the franchise wants to turn the page as well. I think that's.
Do you like, though, the Shaq years in like Boston, Cleveland, like LeBron James? You've already played for three. That fourth could feel a little awkward.
I don't think that's a good comp.
Not the Shaq comp or the Boston.
But I know there's probably other comps. I don't know if that's the right comp.
Give me like I'm saying, does he need the fourth team? Like, here's my point. The fourth team you better win. I don't want the fourth team. Your last year in the NBA, you went to the Memphis Grizzlies and went 37-45. He's not going there.
Right.
But like, my point is, wherever you're going last, you talk about a plan. He wants a plan. That plan better be to have a darn good team. Like, you're going to be a part of a really good team. Is Golden State a really good team in the Western Conference? San Antonio, Oklahoma City.
I think if you're looking at it from that perspective, maybe it makes more sense. It would make more sense for him to be in
East Cleveland,
right? Like a Cleveland, New York, one
Cleveland.
of those situations.
Yeah, New York is interesting. Like you said, if they go to the finals,
they don't win,
and now he's that
either one of those teams. Like if either of those teams win, he's not going to go there. But if one of those teams didn't win, then maybe that would be a potential.
And LeBron James in New York City. I mean, come on, you talk about a story.
But so. Even him at Golden State,
I know it
would be a story,
it's a massive story. But again,
the Knicks would have a better chance again in the finals than obviously the Warriors would.
I agree. All right, if you missed our conversation with Anders Dreyer, star for SDFC, you'll hear that coming up at 5:30. Plus, we turn our attention back to the Padres, who drop a series to the Brewers. They're heading for Seattle to take on the Mariners with the first of a 3-game series coming up tomorrow night. We're here until 6 p.m. Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app.
All right, SDFC is back at Snapdragon Stadium Saturday night when they host FC Cincinnati. Our pregame coverage with Darren and Adrian begins at 6 p.m. SDFC trying to make it 2 wins in a row. Great conversation with Andres Dreyer coming up at 5:30, so make sure you stay tuned in for that.
By the way, Schaefer and Slee with San Diego Sports 760. You can hit us up on the text line. You're going to try to crumple that piece of paper up and make another shot in the trash? I am. Okay, turn that mic on. And
I'm
a
southpaw.
break. You shot with your left-handed,
Southpaw.
Nathan. My last 3 or 4 shots.
You
have
go
not gone
left-handed.
in.
Try left-handed.
No, I can't.
Just try it. Just what do you
All
got
right.
to
Here's
lose?
my
You're already
left-handed
0 for
shot.
4.
All right.
It was off a little.
It wasn't good.
By the way, your
wasn't good.
left hand, a lot more arc. Your right hand, line drive.
Maybe I'm actually.
You might be a southpaw.
Maybe I'd probably be in the league, dude, if I was shooting with my left hand all this time.
Honestly,
I wouldn't be doing
when
this.
I first saw you, I was like, this guy's Luke Kennard.
I mean, I feel like I could hang defensively on Wemby. Probably not. All right, text line 70470. Start it with the word team, or you can call us 877-767-4760. A comment from our conversation about Ethan Salas and his great start to the year, and knowing AJ Preller's history, would he move him this summer if the Padres have needs? And 619 said, if you get to the deadline and Campy is hitting, you trade Campy and call up Ethan Salas. He went on to say, also, don't trade anyone. I say, stop bailing out this offense and point the finger to the guys who have always had excuses. Manny, Tatis, and Bogey. The guys who always have excuses. Here's the thing. You trade Luis Campusano. Hey, he's finally performing. I know he's hurt right now. What are you getting for Luis Campusano? Don't you just want to reap the rewards of him just having a nice year for you?
Yeah, I think that conversation, and the Ethan Salas conversation, just any kind of stud that you might have, I'm going to have hesitation, and I get it. I understand the reason why the Padres have done it in the past. And again, I'll go back to it. I do like the idea of having a squad with a phenomenal farm system. And I think AJ Preller, it's like he's not the guy that will work in the middle. It's like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to save some of my guys in the farms. No, AJ Preller will go all in. Whatever's happened in the past, I could still justify it, even though they haven't gone to a World Series, for some of the reasons I mentioned to you earlier. I think it is important for the city of San Diego and where the Padres were and where San Diego was in sports. I think there was a time where it's like, you got to wake the city up. And Peter Seidler and AJ Preller did. And the main reason why they're able to wake the city up is because they went out and made trades, because they did trade some of their future for the present. Now, do you continue to do that? I think it comes down to where are you? Do you have any issues? And you said you didn't. Any issues with the trades they made last season?
No. Even though, look right now, you trade for, the thing is, I can't look at these trades with regret because you're going to win some and lose some, literally. You trade for Freddie Fermin. It obviously hasn't worked out. You traded 2 starting pitchers in that deal. You need starting pitching. But it's so easy now with the benefit of knowing how it plays out to look back. But I like how AJ Preller goes to a poker table not thinking about like playing like limit hold'em. He's just like, I'm willing to risk.
But here's the question. And so I think then we have to let's gauge the expectations. If you are going to trade the farm, which he has.
Yes, he has.
Is the goal by trading the farm? And I'm not even here to tell you one way or the other. But if you told me, look, for San Diego and the San Diego Padres, trading the farm is worth being a relevant baseball team for the last 6 years. Because that's really what it's been. Doesn't mean you made it to a World Series. Doesn't mean you won a World Series. You can sell me on that's still more important for you for a franchise that hasn't been relevant in a long time when it comes to baseball, that only has one professional team, that whatever they've traded in the past has been worth it. I could be sold on that. And again, this is coming from somebody that wouldn't typically say be that aggressive, but they have not cashed out.
No, you're right.
And I think to me, the fear will always be in 2 years from now, are we going to be looking and saying, we got bad contracts left and right. Your farm system is one of the worst in Major League Baseball, and you're nowhere competing for a World Series.
I understand that sentiment, but the way I look at it is it's outside of AJ Preller's control whether they win the World Series. All he can do is position them to win the World Series. Would we agree with that? As in, there are no guarantees.
Mhm.
I would say the risks are worth taking if you think, and he's the one in charge of the organization, baseball operations, if you believe you're bettering your chances of winning the World Series. I can't look at it like, okay, do I want to sustain success but not win at the highest level, or go all in with a chance of winning at the highest level? To me, sustained success in San Diego without a World Series, that's not valuable anymore to me. They've been around since 1969. You have to be willing to do everything in your power within reason to position your team to win a World Series. Again, he can't guarantee that. And I know keeping Ethan Salas, you might win a World Series that way as well. But I'm just saying, baseball operations in San Diego looking for their first World Series should not be risk adverse, because everything they've ever tried has never worked. I'm all for following this path further and further and further down that path.
So that means then, like, again, I go back to it. I think for San Diego, there's some things that I think are exclusive to this market that I think the city has responded to your you take risks, you get us excited.
People show up.
We'll come show up. And I think they've responded with, hey, they're trying to win. They're not paying attention to the number 4 prospect in the system that we may never see and may never develop. But I do think that I like to look at the San Diego Padres. If you said, how can the Padres, because sustained success is important. I think having sustained success is very important. And I think the longer you have sustained success, you give yourself a chance to win a World Series. What I don't think you want is, I'm all in. I'm all in.
And then you're
I'm all in
at the bottom.
And then it's like, yeah, they're going to kick you out of the casino because
what if you won a World Series in that path?
But that's a very, very easy. I'm with you. I would give up. I would give up 25 years of being the worst team in Major League Baseball to win one World Series.
That's the thing. So
that's what I would.
But we can't. Yeah, I get it. Believe me, I don't disagree. I don't disagree. There's multiple ways to do this is probably the point.
But I think for each market, you have to I think for the San Diego Padres, there needs to be a combination of your top 10 in the farm system. You are giving up some of these players, but at the same time, you're not giving up everybody because, you only got so much money that we'll see with new ownership, what they're looking to spend, but
it's an interesting conversation. It's a fascinating one because they've never won a World Series. So I don't know what it's going to take.
I like what you said. It's like everything you've ever done in your franchise history hasn't worked.
So I'm
down to try something different.
Try new things. All right, Anders Dreyer, what a player he's been for SDFC in the first 2 years of this franchise. He joined us earlier. SDFC coming off a win yesterday, getting ready for another match against Cincinnati on Saturday. It's Anders Dreyer bobblehead night on Saturday. If you missed that conversation, you'll hear it next on Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app.
This report is sponsored by Unbound.org. The Padres lost to the Brewers today, 7-1. It's the first time all season the Padres have lost a road series. They move on to start a weekend set in Seattle tomorrow night. There are no games in the NBA playoffs tonight, boo, but we got a pair of game 6s tomorrow night. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice: continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
All right, Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760. If you missed it earlier, our conversation with Anders Dreyer. He's got a bobblehead night coming up on Saturday. SDFC picking up a big win yesterday, 5-0 over Austin. We started the conversation by asking what a relief it was to pick up that win.
No, hello, first of all. But no, I think, yesterday was amazing. And after we struggled a little bit for a month or two with some results, then finally back to winning ways. And 5-0, what a way. And then, looking forward to Saturday now.
So what can one win do? Just to, put yourself, like you mentioned, back in the win column. I'm sure there was a lot of frustration through some of the losses that you guys had. But how can one win just kind of change things in momentum? Would love to hear that from your perspective.
No, of course. I think if you take the Portland and you take the LA game, I think we deserved a win, but we didn't get it. And then you get a little bit frustrated. And now when, finally we get the win after a good play, it's hopefully something you can build a momentum of and get some more wins and even more points. We have 2 home games now coming up, and we go for 6 points. It starts on Saturday with 3 points, but of course in the dressing room, around in the club, it gives motivation and even more eager to get points and play like we did yesterday.
How much have you enjoyed, and Anders Dreyer is with us right now, a star for SDFC, scored yesterday, of course, has been one of the focal point members of this franchise each of the last 2 years. What's it been like for you to play in front of these crowds in San Diego over the last 2 years?
It's been amazing. I love our fans. It was Wednesday yesterday and in the night, and still a lot of people show up, even though we haven't won for 9 games. Playing in front of a lot of fans at Snapdragon is something special. I still sometimes, when I'm laying in my bed thinking about that playoff games against Minnesota, where we go through, and Portland as well, and stadium was rocking. It's something special, and I love it. To be fair,
can I go back? Let's kind of stay with that for a quick second and go back to last season, inaugural season for SDFC. What were your expectations? Like, here you are, San Diego's getting its first chance to be part of an MLS team. And I think most people thought San Diego's a great soccer market, but this would be the first opportunity. Did you have like, what were your expectations walking in, and how much different was it based off of what you thought of than what it actually was?
Yeah. No, for sure. And I think that was also a funny part, that you are building something new, like a new franchise, a new club, a new identity. I were in a club in Belgium, maybe the biggest one, Anderlecht, and then you try something totally different, building a new club, be a part of that was something that really dragged me into this project. And I think last season, the way we play, I know it from Nordsjælland in Denmark. It's something spectacular and something that is exceptional, especially when on good days like yesterday, when it's all clicking, then it's fun. I think last season was something we will never forget. But it always makes the second year even harder, because people expect us to do like that again. But that's nice. And I think finally to get San Diego on the map in MLS is nice, and to be a part of that is I would say something special.
Have you felt it on the field, like on the pitch? And Anders Dreyer is with us right now. Like a year ago, it felt like you were hunting down the other teams in Major League Soccer. You were the new kids on the block, so to speak. But now it feels like you're being hunted because, again, you appeared in the Western Conference Final in year one. Is that tangible? Is that felt as a player or a team as you go about the season?
No, for sure. And I think, like you said, like last season, we were the guys who were hunting the other teams and wanted to show what we could do as a club and as a team. Then we did so well that we went all the way to the conference final, and now we are getting hunted by other teams in the league, and I think that's normal. Maybe they put some more effort in watching videos and stuff like that before they come to Snapdragon or we play away against the teams. So of course it's more tough this year, but it's also a year where I think we, as a team, as a club, will learn a lot.
Andres, I'm curious. For us, we're two guys that are talking sports 3 hours a day, 5 days a week. We're going to look at the standings and we're going to say, all right, here's where SDFC is in the Western Conference, and maybe we're going to overreact. How about from a player perspective? How often are you looking at the standings? Does it? I don't want to say does it matter, does it not matter this early, but it is still, what are we, probably getting close to about 1/3 of the season through, when just sitting where you are today, yes, tied for 9th or 10th right there in the standings. What do you make of that, and what are some of your expectations moving forward?
No, of course, I'm a football player, and I'm like addicted to competition and winning. That's for sure. And of course, I sometimes also look at the stands and where we are in the league table, which I think it's normal. But like you said, I think we had now 1/3 of the season done, and we can look forward, and that's what I say. It was important to get that win before the last 2 games now of this first part of the season, and then we have a preseason. But I would not say we panic or anything. We know we've been in a tough period result-wise, and which is normal sometimes in football when things is not going our way. But dressing room-wise, coach, staff, everything is calm. We know what we're capable of, and we're just ready to show it, of course, on Saturday, but also after the World Cup break to show even more. And we know we could have more points, and then of course we will be higher in the league table. So of course we aim to get higher and get into the playoffs.
All right, let's not bury the lead. We need to talk about your bobblehead, which is you on an ice cream cart or like driving one. And you're known as El Pelotero. Am I saying that right? Take us through the backstory for why your bobblehead is you selling ice cream, so to speak, out of an ice cream cart.
Yeah, I heard it like last season. It was something with El Paletero, and then it started to be a thing, and with the ice cream always delivering. And then I one time was at a beach driving around on a bike like that and giving out the ice cream for kids and adults. And it was a great show, to be fair, on the beach. And then I would never imagine myself having a bobblehead, to be fair. It's funny, and I also have one at home, and I'm looking at it, and we'll get some for friends and family, because I think it's actually is something special, and it's not everybody who will just get a bobblehead of himself.
It's one of the more unique ideas, let's just say, that we've seen. So that's awesome. So tomorrow, obviously, we'll mention it again. The first 20,000 fans will get that bobblehead. Or I'm sorry, this upcoming Saturday for the game coming up here. Final one for me, and we appreciate your time. I want to, of course, kind of curious your thoughts here. You come to San Diego, and you really have become one of the staples of this city when it comes to athletes. What's that meant to you? I mean, I think this, and in the city of San Diego, we're very proud to have certain athletes represent our franchises, and you've become the face of SDFC. Just what has that meant to you, and how important is that to you?
No, for sure. I think when I arrived 1.5 years ago, I arrived to an amazing city and something special here. And like you said, all these fine words about being the face of a franchise and to the whole city, it means a lot for me. I really love the support we have around in the city, no matter how it goes. I think people I'm talking to is always supportive and they say what they have on their mind, but they are positive all the time. But it's special for sure. I love it so much and I appreciate it, and that's why it also hurts me sometimes when we don't get the results we want to as a club, as players, for the fans and for the city. So we try every day to work for like the whole city to make San Diego proud.
Well, San Diegans have embraced the club, obviously, as you know, and certainly your performances as well over these 2 seasons. And we are looking forward to Saturday night. You can hear it right here on San Diego Sports 760. If you're one of the first 20,000 fans in attendance, you're getting an exclusive, and it is exclusive. Trust us. After that conversation, you're getting an SDFC Anders Dreyer bobblehead presented by Sharp Healthcare, and you can grab those tickets as well at sandiegofc.com/tickets. Anders, appreciate your time, my friend, and we'll do it again hopefully soon.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, good stuff there from Anders Dreyer for SDFC. All right, on the other side, Matt Waldron is sticking around in the Padres rotation or bullpen. What does it mean for the other pitchers right now on the active roster? We'll discuss that and more here until 6. Schaefer and Slee with San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, final time. Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760. John Heyman, long-time baseball reporter, saying his pick right now is Mason Miller for the most, well, he said for the most valuable player in the league. He was talking about NL Cy Young candidates, comparing Miller to Paul Skeens, Shohei Ohtani, Christopher Sanchez of the Phillies as well.
Mm-hmm.
His pick is Mason Miller. Ohtani has a sub-1 ERA, by the way. Skeens, remember all the talk about opening day? He didn't make it out of the second inning, or maybe the first.
I think out of the first. I think he gave up 5 in the first.
He has a sub-2 ERA for the season. Christopher Sanchez is awesome. He's got a 2.11. And then Miller has a sub-1 ERA right now, 0.96. John Heyman saying his pick for NL Cy Young would be Mason Miller. That was we had that talk for 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, it was early.
And then he allowed the 2 runs, and it's probably neither here nor there.
Well, what you want more than anything else is you want him to have a great sign for the Padres. Is the only way you can keep talking about Mason Miller is if you keep giving the ball in the 9th and he's saving games for you.
True.
Which means you obviously got a ton of wins that you're stacking up. So that's the piece of, I think, part of the storyline for the Padres is Mason Miller is on the national stage. He's one of the more popular players right now in all Major League Baseball. He's doing some amazing stuff. His stuff is just absolutely filthy. But you got to keep stacking wins so he can get the ball in the 9th so that he can improve his win or his save totals and everything else as well.
I mean, 13 saves with yesterday, right? They get the Sheets homer.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of the Padres, by the way. All their big moments, they then hold on to their leads, or they win them in walk-off fashion. But with Mason Miller, who's been almost invincible, it's like there have been examples in baseball, Padres included, where it's like, big moment, but then the opposition responds. It's like against the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium. You tie the game up only to see them walk you off, a half inning later. With Mason Miller, knock on wood, he's just been so shut the door. 13 for 13 now, about a quarter of the way through. I mean, doing the math on it, that's a 50 save pace. I mean, that's a big, big number. I don't know if it's realistic or not, but that's how you stay in the conversation.
I think he, for the most part, will do his part.
I agree.
The question's going to be, again, I go back to it. You got to put him in spots that he's in save opportunities.
Right.
So I think that's going to be the biggest question. So, but listen, just the fact that people are having conversations with some of those names, obviously all those guys are starters, just shows you the type of season he's having to start off with the Padres and just how good he's been.
And remember, the only outing in which he allowed a run, he allowed 2, but was controversial in
the foul ball
in
down
the
the line.
ball that was picked up by Ty France that was shown to be in foul territory, was called a fair ball, would later result in 2-run scoring. Padres have a decision to make because Matt Waldron is going to stick with them, it sounds like, and they're going to activate Lucas Giolito. I'll tell you this, I don't think Mason Miller is going down. But they're going to have a decision to make with someone in their bullpen. And I don't really know what they're going to do.
I don't know either.
Right? I'm not sure what they're necessarily thinking, if they want to give someone I don't know, just a breather over the course of 162 or not. But I thought it was Matt Waldron, like coming out of yesterday when he pitched so poorly 2 days ago.
Especially his quotes, and everybody just assumed it was going to be him.
But he doesn't have any options, so maybe they don't want to lose him from the organization. So, not that it's the end-all be-all right now, but it is interesting that Waldron stays and Giolito will know, I guess, within the next day or two when they activate Lucas Giolito.
What are you hoping? What's kind of, and I know we hit on it a little bit, but again, I'm going to go back to this.
Yeah.
The pressure that's going to come on any Padres starter. Like Michael King was phenomenal yesterday. He had to be.
Mm-hmm.
Randy Vasquez, every start he has, it's like, need you to shove.
Yep.
What is a fair expectation for Giolito when he gets his first start? And most likely it's going to be some point this weekend.
First start,
I think they're, by the way, I think Randy Vasquez is tomorrow, and then it's
Giolito Saturday
to be determined on. I don't think they've listed. Yeah.
I mean, my first start expectations aren't going to be crazy.
Overall. Just like paint the picture. We're a month from today. What's Lucas Giolito for the Padres?
I'd be very comfortable or content if he was their third best starter this year, behind Michael King and Randy Vasquez.
Isn't that best case scenario?
Is it? Yeah, hopefully it is, because otherwise it's an indication on King or Vasquez probably.
Well, and I just say best case scenario, he's third, and maybe a week ago you would have said, I don't know. I think Griffin Canning can be in that conversation. Yeah. Maybe there was a quick point where it was like, I don't think really anybody else, but best case scenario, I'm with you that he slots into the number 3 spot and he's solid. Like, they need a solid third starter, a consistent one. They clearly don't have that.
Yeah,
right now.
Griffin Canning, I need to see a lot more. He's basically had one great start. His first start, he was really good. Well, his second start, Tatis was part of it. Ball goes under his glove.
Yeah.
Leads to 4 runs. 6 runs would score in the inning. So, okay, that's not all on Griffin Canning, obviously. But then today it is on him. It's completely on him.
And today is not like for us to have a Griffin Canning conversation, to have it where he gives up what he gave 6 runs in
an inning and 2/3,
5 hours ago. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like it's also coming right after. Like we're critiquing him at a day where he had one of his worst outings. So that has a lot to do with it too.
And here's what I think. Here's what I truly believe.
Okay.
I believe that no matter how the team is playing, when we fast forward 2 months, they will need to add starting pitching. That's what I believe. I don't care if they're 14 games over 500 or 4 or 17 over or 7. I believe one of their prerequisites for the postseason would be adding starting pitching. I could be wrong. It's just how I feel right now in the middle of May. Knowing everything that I know and watching everything that I've seen, I believe they'll double down on starting pitching. I say that knowing they'll have other needs, including their offense that we've talked a lot about. But I don't think, the more I think about it, Griffin Canning with Lucas Giolito and Walker Buehler, and not knowing anything about Nick Pivetta or Joe Musgrove, being in that position, I don't think that's enough. That's not a position of confidence for me if I was the front office.
I think standings wise and their record right now, they're a playoff team, but they're not a playoff threat.
Right.
So I think, and that's going to come a lot. If they're going to be a playoff threat, a lot of that's going to have to come internally from what they already have. And then, of course, if you've I've heard, I think it was Preller has said this before. The players determine how aggressive they are at the deadline.
Yeah, he said that. Yep.
If the squad is good enough, AJ Preller, you don't have to go convince AJ Preller to go invest and to take some chances. The question is just going to be, what does he see from this team? And I listen, I do think there's enough momentum and they got off to a good enough start and you have a new ownership and they obviously went out there and there's some promise with Giolito. And I'm sure they're optimistic that some of these guys are going to turn it around with the bat. I mean, I think we all have to be. I think it's safe to say and fair to say Preller's going to look at why would all of a sudden he not be aggressive? Like I have a difficult time thinking about that. We got a long ways to go, but it's just part of the continued dialogue.
Prepare yourself. Good knowing you, Ethan Salas. It was a fun year in the Padres organization. It was a nice little career.
Keep him.
Looking forward to seeing him with the Mariners. I'm kidding. I think ultimately who knows? I have no thoughts on it because Preller's such a riverboat gambler. All right, we're back tomorrow. Kevin Acee will be on the show from Seattle. We're getting you ready for the Padres and the Mariners and SDFC this weekend, the NBA postseason, and more. So be with us tomorrow at 3 p.m. If you missed anything today, you can go to sportssd.com or the iHeartRadio app. For Brent and Alan, I'm John. This is Schaefer and Sliwa on San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app. Peace.